So we have started on these chemical reactions. We have left off talking about sulfur. Now sulfur acts just like oxygen. Form those sulfides. Looks like we'll form oxides. So today we're going to keep going with these synthesis reactions. I don't think we'll get into decomposition, but who knows. So let's look at some. Let's do synthesis reactions. Of metals and halogens. Somebody remind me too before we have that next lab. No contacts.
Is it the one that goes boom?
No, this one will not go boom. This one, no, this one, if you get,
Acids.
it does have an acid. It has
So
a
I
very
can do
strong
this?
acid. No, this acid's so strong, I will be pouring it. You won't touch it. Somebody's gonna be permanently scarred for life, let me be strong.
Permanently scarred?
Are you going to come to the lab?
So like if you get
Mr.
it
Hopper,
and it burns
like,
through
it's
you type acid?
I'll get it off before it burns through.
But
Trust
it'll
me.
burn, it'll burn.
If anybody's in my way from getting to that shower, you're gonna eat the floor. You're gonna hurt.
Is it strong
Everybody
enough to
leave.
get that?
Oh God, I can
Yeah.
imagine Mr. Hall up here, and then like I'm over there in the corner, and then the shower's over here, right?
Dalton
You're
steps
walking
back
back
and
and
see what's going on.
You start running back to the shower, then you make a quick detour over to me, punch me in the face, and then run back over to the shower.
I would never do that.
I just spit
No, he
everywhere.
wouldn't even be worried about you, Dalton. He'd be worried about getting all the females out of the room, just in case it burns all the way through.
Punch me in the face.
Punch them all in the
So
face.
they all get knocked out. Can't
Just a roundhouse.
If they're knocked out, then we can't see nothing.
He ain't got time to punch the majority of the
You guys
Hey,
gotta do
hey,
that.
hey, y'all do me a favor. I haven't had enough coffee for this yet.
Hey, we are the coffee. It's okay.
Hey,
Especially Dalton. He's always
so when we talk about halogens, first thing you gotta remember, halogens are diatomics, everything but astatine. That is down there at number 85. It is not a diatomic, but the others are. So halogens are diatomics, and they form a -1 charge. So pretty much, it's just going to line up. This is really going to be dependent a lot on your nomenclature skills. Not too shabby, not too bad. So whenever we look at it, let's say for example, just keeping it easy. Synthesis reaction of sodium and chlorine. So synthesis reaction of sodium and chlorine, so are these the reactants or the products?
I don't know. Why y'all keep looking at each other? Y'all
It's just
scared
weird,
of
like
me.
they were like whispering.
I'm plotting something.
I'm talking about the Flintstones. I don't call the Flintstones the Flintstones because they're like the most advanced, so they know how to use like flint and stone to make fire. Like they're like advanced cavemen. Or are they the Flintstones just because they couldn't think of anything better?
I think you're just an
You ever seen
overthinker,
the
and you should have left the
It's kind
Flintstones
of
alone.
that big underwater.
I gotta admit, you two had me like freaking out the other day because y'all was whispering and have no idea what y'all were talking about. But I looked at a word and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I spelled that right.
It's okay, Mr. Holland.
And then I kept looking at it and I'm like,
Well, it makes you feel better. That is what it usually is.
They would be the two
Awesome.
point of murder. Yeah.
Possibly.
I will tell y'all what I told
You never know.
John Ellis in 8th period. Ask me if I can. So, reactants, products.
What'd you ask?
Are those reactants or products?
Reactants.
They are reactants. Thank God. I was so nervous.
Have you looked at those last?
It's like a math problem, man. The end is the problem.
So sodium and chlorine are going to combine to form what? They're going to combine together to make, combine together, sodium chloride. So they're going to make table salt.
Okay, you're just making me hate a lot of stuff. You're just making me hate a lot of stuff I like to use. Mr. Hall.
Cool.
And
So now we go from the word equation, and just like you can predict, I can go into what the formula equation use. Sodium is Na plus chlorine, which is
CL.
Oh.
Cl2.
Oh my god, you scared me. I thought I got the whole element wrong. I was like,
Why is it Cl2?
That's diatomic.
Diatomic.
That was your time to shine. You blew it.
Yeah, so.
So sodium chloride, sodium forms a +1 charge. Chloride is a -1 charge. Cross them, get NaCl. Am I done? Why am I not done?
you need
Yeah,
to check
make
and see
sure
if
they're
it's
balanced.
good.
Let me check to see if it's balanced. So I look at sodium, chlorine. How many sodiums are on the reactant side? How many chlorines? Over on the product side, how many sodiums? How many chlorides? We balanced?
No.
How we fix it?
Add a big 2 in front
Add a
of it.
number.
Nah, big 2.
Drop a big old.
You gotta poop in front of it.
You gotta drop a
No,
giant. A
People
giant.
say that on quiz day, I swear. That should be a question on the quiz.
What do? You drop a giant deuce.
Alright, so I put a 2 there. So that changes sodium and chlorides to 2. Now I'm done?
No.
Why?
You gotta put a 2 in front of the sodium.
Man, this is a lot of big 2.
Yeah, no.
I had enchiladas.
Nice.
Now are we balanced?
Yes.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Who would have known?
It wouldn't know what?
Who didn't even do?
I didn't say that.
Who didn't even?
You
Who
did.
would have known?
You did. I'm telling John.
I don't care. Funny thing is, I'd love to see y'all's teachers' reactions. 'Cause I know y'all have to go out here and talk about me and my horrible spelling.
Not really.
No, actually,
No, actually, I don't.
Our other teachers don't really let us talk. They just talk
Yeah, we talk about
us.
using your face.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Because
Our
I-
other
Yeah,
teachers will be like, what's 2 plus 1? And they give you 0.5 seconds to answer 3. And then they're like, 4.
Yeah, that's one thing you don't have to worry about. We don't talk trash behind your back. We just talk it straight to your face. If something's wrong, we will tell you.
Other teachers.
So tell me, none of y'all walk out here and look and say, Mr. Hall cannot spell. Say this one.
No.
If there was a gun to Mr. Hall's head and they said spell hippopotamus, well, he's dead.
Well,
I mean, I'd
that's
probably
whenever you
do
yell
that
for
too.
dog. And you see them dogs. They're like,
I will look and say, can I get half credit for hippo?
well, they don't know. Bullet.
And you know it's just halfway.
I leave when I
Yeah,
walk
we're
out.
gonna stop the bullet when it gets halfway through your brain.
Any
You're like,
comments or
you got
anything?
half credit.
I leave there.
They just take first damage.
No, they just nip the top of the skeleton.
No, that's where they'll look and say, yeah, I can have half credit. I said, so I'm in the state of super.
Caitlin Hampton, report to room 1036.
Oh, can't pull the trigger. Don't let me pull the trigger. Then we're no longer
That was
in a
paralyzing.
superposition state.
And then you hurt their brain and they blow up from anger.
All right, I want y'all to try this one. Try.
Oh, shut up.
Man,
I want you to give me a synthesis reaction that produces let's do calcium bromide.
He's a hard one.
well, there's definitely calcium in there.
That's, yeah, wow, nice observation there.
Good job.
This is basically just fancy nomenclature.
So it's like when you buy a ball of ketchup and you get
Until here in about 5 minutes.
Please don't say
Oh,
that.
come on.
Do we get special cases?
Well, those special cases are for special people, and I'm not one of them.
Y'all are special. This is like the good thing of having like those really smart students and teaching them in class. You know, misspell a word and they're like, that's not right. Oh, that's improper grammar. Oh, that right there is a dependent and dependent clause. You cannot separate them with a comma. You have to.
I don't know what that
separate
is.
the dependent clause. The reacting side doesn't work.
Well, I mean, you do that, I made that illegal for me. You're not supposed to do it.
I think they should bring it back.
That is illegal.
It's okay if you do.
Now I'm concerned. What's
He's
going
doing
on?
illegal things. He needs to go to prison.
I'm just fixing my
I,
hair.
Yeah, right. Okay, Hitler, like out over there.
It's a long story. Fixed his hair once, it wasn't right, he got it wet, he fixed it again, and we're okay.
Yeah, that's the story.
I don't see the problem.
I have a
Oh,
question.
we
Which
promote.
one's the
I
reactive
don't know
side?
what you're talking
Left
about.
side.
And what's the other side?
Right side product. Product.
You make sure your head is tilted down.
See, we're promoting it.
Simulation for.
We're gonna bring it back as a punishment.
I'm sorry, I was no longer listening to your conversation.
Wait.
I was answering the chemistry question.
Because if you listen, then you will probably have to report us.
All right, so calcium bromide, reactants,
That's what
products.
Calcium plus bromide, or bromide,
Roman.
I don't know how to pronounce that.
Calcium. Roman or bromide? Yields. Calcium. Bromide.
Hurry, I have calcium.
Chemical symbol for calcium. Chemical symbol for calcium.
Oh, okay, so calcium.
Chemical symbol is Ca
Ca.
plus Br 2 equals calcium bromide.
So we gotta find out what calcium bromide is. So Ca, what's the charge in calcium?
Plus 2.
Positive 2. Bromide, Br, -1.
Because the halogen.
There's a halogen, 17th column. Now, we cross them.
And
You
you go over and back, left to right, and you pull away tight, like bunny ears.
That's
I
not
don't know how to go.
You ruined
The fact
SpongeBob
that
for
you
me.
knew it past that point at all is just a shock to me. That's like, y'all know like the SpongeBob song, Ricky's Pants?
Yeah.
You know Andrew Sherwood?
Yeah, he
I have
knows.
a period. Andrew literally on one of his chemistry quizzes could not explain to me something, so he wrote the song lyrics out to it. He messed it up, but he wrote the lyrics out. And I'm like, what in the world? I did. I gave him a point. I ain't
Mr.
gonna lie.
Hall, you should start like mocking that one dude on TikTok that makes fun of his kids all the time. Like he looks up all the time. He's like, "Why are you up?" You should do that with dogs. Now, you can tell some really good stories on TikTok and become famous.
Yeah. Alright, so reactant side, 1 calcium, 2 bromine, product side, 1 calcium, 2 bromide. We balanced?
Yeah.
What?
I was gonna say, hold on.
He said,
Oh,
I thought he said hold on.
Mr. Hall, I have a question.
Dominic, the wrong question?
so there's no need for a big 2 here.
Wow.
Have you not heard that song? No.
Mr. Hall, I have a question.
Ask your question.
Okay, so you know how like first year we talk a whole lot, funny stuff, all that. Do you edit every word we say out? Because you know now I've never seen your video. Do you like edit every word and always put it in the queues yourself?
Yeah, I sit there and I have so much free time. I edit all my videos, make them produced professionally. Just so that I can have them on YouTube for free for kids that never paid for them. So I'm getting no extra money for them for kids that sit in my room that never watch the video. No.
That'd be pretty cool. You could make it better.
If it's something really awful,
Oh, that's why, Mr. Hall, because you spend all your time doing whiteboard classes.
Mr. Hall,
yeah.
did we turn the eggs in the incubator?
Huh?
We did turn the eggs.
I haven't turned them this morning.
Oh, you have been?
Yeah.
Eggs back there,
I'm glad Kayla's.
I've been doing quarters, right? It's a
put them in the
quarter turn.
microwave.
Yeah.
That's all I've done.
I didn't know that. The eggs
I know
been
where
dead.
I
Why is there eggs?
I'm waiting for those things they had so I can have them at home. And I had 5 of them, and my little brother went around the cage yesterday, and all got killed by my dog.
You're trying to hatch baby chickens.
All right. Now, everything so far hasn't been that bad, but now we're going to get to the point to where you got to remember certain cases.
Is it too late?
It's like
Dropout, yes.
Mr. Hall, can we just take a test on this part that we just went over? Can we?
I would
Just
pass it.
I probably would.
So much. You know where I live, it's here. Mr. Hall.
Because Mr. Hall has a duty and responsibility that I have to prepare you. Okay? I thought it, but didn't say it. I have to get you to where you can balance everything all together. You know how nomenclature was? It's like I give you the whole toolbox and I was like, hey,
Yeah.
fix up the living room. And you gotta go through and you gotta do electrical and drywall, you gotta do all sorts of work. But you have to know when to do what work and what set of tools to use. It's the same thing with chemical reactions.
What are you talking about?
You're a big kids now.
No, we're
It's
not.
a big kid down.
no, I was a kid.
We put poodles in the oven. We just done it to dry. It was wet.
They got shut down too.
We got that.
Synthesis reaction with oxides.
Oh my god, you cut to school?
Look who showed
You
up.
cut to school?
You might as well stay home.
She had to get her key out of her ignition.
Yeah, even Cedo tried it, which is very bad.
Ain't
You
your
like
car
put
like...
the blue on it and say, yeah.
All right. Now, here's the thing. There's 2 special cases to these. You're going to like them, especially the second one. It'll be your favorite. You ready?
I don't like this.
Oh my God, why?
I didn't even put a word on the board yet.
Exactly.
Oxides of active metal.
Okay.
Active metals, because I know you're having this question, comes from column. Number 1, number 2. Column 1, column 2, alkali metals, alkali earth metals. React. Oh wait, yeah. Just give y'all 2 something to talk about.
I know.
Water.
And I put a ship I coated. Just put a dot in front of it and on top of it, please. God.
Tomato. Killing me, man.
I know.
Metal.
Where's the Cleo, John?
What the water Cleo?
Hydroxide.
It's the fact that they really say that in the show about the water.
The hydration.
What? Monday and kudos.
Funny thing of it is the different, like, this is what first period is like. You go to eighth period, it's totally different. Like,
Well, maybe we need to come sit in it.
Oh, no, you
No.
should. It's.
I'm very
it was
sorry.
just
I didn't know it's great.
Can we just duct tape his mouth?
No, it's fun.
so, oxides of active metals that come from column 1 or column 2 react with water to make metal hydroxide. These are the ones that become difficult. Because you're going to see multiple things together, and it's going to look differently to you. So it's stuff like, I'll tell you, like a synthesis reaction. Of calcium oxide.
Is there an abbreviation for synthesis? I'm tired of writing that.
It's YN. It's YN or.
You make your own, like Mr. Honda.
That's
Can
actually.
I tell you something? That's honestly what you need to do. It's like your nose. See, what matters is that you look at them and know what it's saying.
So wait, you're telling us to learn how to write shorthand?
Yeah,
I don't know how to write shorthand.
I do, because I'm a.
that's where you learn. You like develop it. So like RxN. Why do I do RxN? I don't want to keep
I
writing
don't know the
reactions.
whole grammar part, but I get the concept.
That would be a good thing for synthesis.
Synthesis reaction of calcium oxide and water. So, synthesis reaction of calcium oxide and water. As you can clearly see, calcium oxide and water are my reactants. So I have calcium oxide
You crush up tones and put it into a glass of water.
and water.
Water! I need it!
Why do I worry about talking too much?
We all have to. So they're going to react to form. This is a metal, but it's an active metal. How do I know that? Calcium comes from the second column. So it is an active metal oxide, and active metal oxides react with water to form metal hydroxides. Where do you think the metal comes from in this reaction? Calcium's the metal. So we have calcium. So calcium, what?
We should put you in nursing.
Hydroxide.
I got a dumb question. Who pays for like nursing homes? Like
We do.
when you
Taxpayers.
send someone, are you paying the bill?
No, it's kids.
Do they pay the bill out of their own salary and they don't know it because they probably have dementia? What's going on?
I think it's like a mix of all the above.
Taxes.
And then from there,
That's too,
well, Owen, I'm very far from ever having to worry about being in a nursing home, so it hasn't crossed my mind yet.
but sometimes,
Yes!
sometimes you just got to do practical applications before the time comes.
They can consider it later. I mean,
Generally, they all do.
I feel like I'm getting called really old today. Alright, calcium oxide.
Retirement before it's too late.
Ca, 2 plus, oxide, 2 negative. Cross them,
Gross.
and you'll see it's a 1-to-1.
Cow.
So you should ultimately end up with CaO.
Say that.
Recording.
Cow. Cow.
Plus water.
Cow go move.
What is chemical form of
H2O.
H2O.
You literally just told us how did
The hydrogen monoxide.
Yeah, you said what's the chemical formula for H2O?
You brought it
Except
here.
water.
He said water, H2O.
water.
Don't worry about her. She's the one going to nursing home.
You would make calcium hydroxide. This is where things get fun.
When you say
Calcium,
when you take many calcium.
2 plus
I'm
hydroxide.
sitting at
Oh, H negative.
OH negative. Cross
I
them.
have to go, that one has to go this way.
Wait, so this is
Cross
why we
them.
need to know our polytones again.
That one.
CA. Hey, Mr. Hall, I have a question for you.
You got the parentheses.
Is it okay if Mr. Hall do this because he needs 2 hydroxide?
No, you can't do that. You're going to blow up the school. No, spoil it. Spoil it. Bald. My neck.
I was gonna say that.
My neck.
It's
Okay. Alright, so we have calcium oxide and water react to make calcium hydroxide, and that is proper chemical format. Now we check for balance.
Oh my God! When we jump to number 2, it turns into chocolate.
It's gonna ban us from talking.
It wouldn't work. Alright, on the reactant side, how many calcium?
Uno.
Here's the trick. How many oxygens? There's an oxygen here and an oxygen here.
Oh.
There's 2 of them. How many hydrogens? 2. Product side. How many calcium?
1.
How many oxygen? 2, because the 2 on the outside of parentheses. How many hydrogen? 2. Very good.
And we're great.
You're great.
Oh my goodness. Somebody flattened my chisel tip.
I'm sorry.
Why is that in here? Trash.
He's getting to it.
I'd love to know what it is. It does nothing.
This should never been in my room.
Come on, Gary.
I don't do bullets. I do chisel tip.
Why don't you do bullets? Bullets is so much easier.
Hey. Tomorrow, we won't be in here. We've been talking about decomposition reactions, and hey, also, Mr. Hall finally cleaned his board.
Yeah, you still haven't told us yet. Is it boy or girl? We don't want to find out through Facebook. We want to know.
Whiteboard class.
I would look at you and tell you that I would tell you in person, but if I know my wife, we're gonna go tell her family, and then
all
she'll be ready to post it. Like she'll be too excited.
Well, post
We have to go back. We have to go back next Wednesday to confirm the gender.
Well, post in her mind, hey, everybody meet at Wayside at 12, and I'll tell you what it is in person, and we will all be in the parking lot.
I will be here. I just
I will We'll buy the confetti poppers.
I'm gonna be so
Alright, so we talked about decomposition reactions, and we're rolling through with these decomposition reactions. So we left off. It's been a nice, enjoyable weekend, so let's bring our memories, refresh everybody back up.
What day is today?
It was a horrible week.
Next Monday.
Day what?
11. So, let's say for example, you had something like decomposition reaction.
Probably not.
That's cool.
I think the only.
So you all give me the proper chemical formula for decomposition reaction of strontium hydroxide.
Easter, we have to go bring our Easter. I didn't even want to spend Easter with anybody. I'm gonna just come home and go to bed and sleep all my Sunday.
Yeah, Mr. Hall, you may see one of us rolling up on crutches tomorrow. I can tell you that right now.
That's not good.
No, because where we're playing at tonight, it's literally like a baseball field, but their spot is like this big around their field.
Where is it at? Well, if it ain't don't extend, I break my ankle, I'm sick. I'm just so glad.
I'm so confused right now because we've experienced that so many times. I don't know.
I'm actually gonna be trying to learn. I've got to learn how to
I'm just watching it.
Mr. All always wanted to.
I'm gonna be No, but yes. During one of my education classes, without telling us, handed out the ADHD test, gave it to us and told us to get a check between every one of these we suffer from. So he goes through it and he looks, and he's like, how many of you suffer from 12 to 15? 15 now. Somebody raise their hand and say, how about 7 to 9? That was the whole class race right here. It's like awesome. I was just clinically diagnosed all year with ADHD. Here's this medicine you can take, and we're all all right. Strontium hydroxide. So strontium.
SR.
SR
2 plus.
2 plus. Hydroxide.
HO 2 negative.
Oh.
OH negative. Now, so it's just a negative 1. 1 comes down for the strontium, 2 comes down for hydroxide. So we get SR OH 2, right?
No, it's parentheses, because that's saying you have
Oh, because then it
2
changes.
hydrogen, you actually have
You weren't
2
looking at me.
hydroxide.
So I gotta put parentheses around the Y.
Because if you don't put that, it's wrong. It's saying you have 2 hydrogen.
Why would it be wrong?
Because it's saying 2 hydrogen, not 2 hydroxide.
You have to put parentheses around it because you need multiple hydroxides. Okay? If we didn't, then Dalton's correct. It would be saying 2 hydrogens, not 2 hydroxides. So then we take this and we heat it up. What's the products?
SR plus OH
2 plus. Yeah, not right. SR
Plus
OH. Senior coffee.
No, 94 cents at your first.
I'm 0 over 10.
That's wrong. 0 out of 10 points.
You didn't even do your number. Still kind of tips.
I'm depressed.
You didn't check it correctly.
Well, you want to balance it? There you go. I balanced it. Okay? Better. 0 out of 10.
Oh, nice. Well, we got
That's all right. Y'all are on your own.
multiplied it to, Yeah.
Okay.
What side of it is wrong? Both
I
sides?
was thinking I understood it.
You need to put 2 plus above the strontium and put negative above the hydroxide.
Wrong.
I don't like
I don't know what you're asking me.
Products are wrong.
You're making me sad.
What is this?
A metal carbonate.
No, that's even more wrong. Just hush.
Metal.
Don't look at me.
Metal
Oxide. Hydroxide.
hydroxide. Somebody said this was simple.
It's not simple.
Metal hydroxide breaks into what? Decomposes to what two things?
I have it right
Something
here.
and oxide.
Metal and oxide.
It's supposed to be the written out names of the strontium plus
Wait, do it put lead?
Don't worry. I'm waiting.
You might as well just take a nap, because it's going to be a while.
It's in your notes.
But some of us don't come to middle school.
We know, darling. It's okay.
It breaks down to the components.
Hold on. Hold on. It's not in your notes.
I don't think
Oh, really, Mr. Hall? Really?
It's not.
How you gonna do us like that?
What are we supposed to do here? Yeah.
It's in 8th period's notes.
Can we call your professor from wherever you study?
Call Marshall now.
Call him up.
Professor.
You want a recommendation? I say get John Hubbard.
I'll ask him.
He'll probably cuss me out.
Mr. Hall told me to ask you since he didn't.
No, he'd probably enjoy it. He'd be like, no, that's how I taught him.
Chew his kids out for stuff they don't know.
Yeah, I'm not.
Show John Hubbard what I did. He'd say he wrote too much on the board. It's not preparing you. Okay, Mr. Hall apologizes. Mr. Hall is sorry.
Why
Okay?
you know? You don't say nothing.
See, you forget about us, but 8th period.
No, do not. I looked at the wrong side of my picture of where you're left at. Okay, here's the thing. Metal hydroxides. It makes a whole lot of sense now. Because I was like, why in the world are they giving me that?
Well, in our defense, we tried.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. You did try,
That's
Mr. Hallman.
bonus points. Bonus points.
No, if we would have got it right, it would have been bonus.
AX.
Metal hydroxides break down and decompose into metal oxides
How did I know that?
and water.
Well, Aiden was right.
Ada was
right.
technically half right,
He
okay?
was
He
right. He
said
said metal
water.
oxide and water. That's what he did.
Did he say both of them?
Speak up, son.
He did.
He's a boy genius.
Yeah. Because
Boy,
they
you
are
can-
AP? You can't wear the chemistry genius style, not that.
No, he's so good he just doesn't need it.
No, he did not feel it. He liked me.
He felt.
Seinfeld.
I think Bill.
Hey, all jokes aside, it was so hard for Albert Einstein to get a job as a professor after he finished his degree because of how lazy he was in the other classes that bored him. That's a true story.
Yeah, like that. That's it.
What'd you say, Phil?
He's too bored.
So it's going to break into metal oxide, which will be strontium, 2 plus, oxide, O2 negative. It's 1 to 1, simplify out, factor the 2 out, SRO, and water. Check balance. I'm waiting. Okay. On the reactant side, how many strontium?
1.
How many oxygen? Hydrogen? Product side, strontium,
It is.
oxygen,
Does.
hydrogen.
Does.
How we gonna balance it?
So we're done.
It just took Mr. Hall looking at his notes wrong. Mess you up.
Hey, like Miley Cyrus once said, everybody makes mistakes.
Everybody has to.
She did.
Like it.
Everybody
You think she'll make it have another pep
Everybody
talk with
has
us
to
before
say
Wednesday? Again?
I think she'll have it Wednesday morning.
I think she'll do it when she gives us the shirts.
When is that?
Oh yeah, whenever she does that, I bet she'll get a pep talk.
We didn't get
I would like to do that
No, it's
today.
Friday.
Yeah, second.
Third period first.
No, fifth period, I hate
There's a big difference
Third
between.
period.
Yeah, I know.
Third period.
I don't blame them though.
I think we should have it the first half of the morning. When we get out of this.
Hey, everything all aside, guys, really take this thing seriously and ball out. Okay?
Well,
Yeah, Miss
Mr.
Hall.
Hall, you won't even be here that day.
I'll be here.
You said you weren't coming, because we took that test and you were leaving for something.
No, it's next Wednesday.
Yeah, next Wednesday, there's spring break. I have an eye doctor's appointment in the evening, but the day of, I have we're going back to confirm the gender.
I thought it was this Wednesday. Do you even test interviews, or do you just, like, watch everybody else?
I'm not on the list to test this year, which I did not complain. I love y'all, but I'm not about being stuck in a room.
Forever.
And I know
Administrative.
something else, if they make us go back to 7th or 8th period.
I want to be stuck in the soccer bathroom and taking the test because I'm most comfortable doing math in that room. I'm in my element.
Alright, now that's in your notes. Let's look at decomposition. This is Mr. Hall's favorite, and this is one of those when we come back from break, Mr. Hall will have his demonstration for you. This is honestly one of my favorite reactions in the whole world. It's awesome. So decomposition
Of human bodies.
Yay.
of metal chlorates.
We had to have a joke in somewhere. It's been there every time we talk about decomposition. It's got to be in there somewhere. Is this like the stuff that they dissolve bodies with? Like in the
That's acid.
yeah, but what's the main math?
So metal chlorates.
Is it a carbonate?
Break apart
Oh. What?
into metal chlorides and what's my favorite? Oxygen. I have a couple reasons why this is my favorite. Number one is right here. No. Demonstrate to you why this is one of my favorites. Look at the fact we have metal chlorate. Let's say we have potassium chlorate. So when you look at potassium chlorate, chemical symbol for potassium is K. It's a +1 charge that's in the first column. Chlorate. You know, I know you know your polygons. Just throw it out, everybody. All.
CO32 negative.
Okay, everybody but all.
What was that right?
CO3.
CO2 3 negative.
We don't know.
We don't know.
We really don't.
CL.
It's CLO, yeah, CLO.
Hey,
I was
no, it's better.
telling you carbonate.
Yeah, ClO3 negative.
Yeah.
Cl.
I was just saying it quietly.
Yeah.
Looked at the periodic
Tom kept saying
table,
CO,
and
and I
they
just kept
were
looking
saying,
out loud. And I was like, yeah, that's right.
Shut up.
So it's 1-to-1 ratio, so it's potassium chlorate. I heat this thing up, it's going to break apart. So decomposition is going to break into a metal chloride. What's the metal?
Potassium.
Potassium chloride.
My mom
Okay,
eats
blood.
metal every day.
You sound like a fan belt.
It's
And
funny,
oxygen.
you know.
What's oxygen?
Oh.
So why do you think this is one of Mr. Hall's favorite?
Because nobody
the
knows how to do
O2.
it right.
No,
It should
because
be
the O2. I get to throw a diatomic question at you, and it's hidden. I don't have to tell you about it. You're the one that has to remember it and write it down, but then you also have to remember that oxygen is O2. Good job, baby. Now you get the joy of balancing this thing. Potassium, chlorine, oxygen, potassium, chlorine, oxygen. On the reactant side, how many potassium? Chlorine. I don't know, but I heard it too.
Yeah, it sounds like a B.
How many oxygen?
Oh my god, I'm so scared. I feel very scared of my environment. Can we go home?
Product side, how many potassium?
One.
Chlorine? Oxygen.
Two. He's not balanced.
No. No.
Oh.
What must we do?
You could, you switch it.
Drop a number.
You switch it. Drop a perpendicular.
We don't drop a dose, do we?
No, we don't poop on
Because then
it.
that, well, you might, because if you drop a deuce, then you might get like 6.
Okay, look.
We don't always.
3 and 2. Does 3 and 2 go into each other evenly?
No.
If we cross them, will it even out?
Yeah.
Trace.
Oh my goodness.
So
We do drop
drop
a
2,
So you poop on that side. You poop on the other.
No.
put a 3 here.
And then a 2. I thought 3 was something else. I didn't think it was PACL.
Get ahead of it, but okay, actually. Go ahead and put another 2 on there. I guess you need some Pepto here. You're going quite often.
Do you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset
Stomach
stomach,
diarrhea. Yeah.
Can I go home now?
No,
Now everything just gets canceled
especially
out.
because you let your sister wear that trash.
I didn't let her.
What did she wear?
Just tell her she's
She
wearing
wore an
trash.
East shirt that has her boyfriend's name on the back of it.
Ah, you suck.
I gave Sean Jenkins full permission to beat her up.
I don't care. But like all day, like we play them in baseball. You're gonna wear that trash? They're very young. Our problem is they just can't finish the game.
Us too.
I guess that's the way to go, right?
I don't know, they're just
Mr.
young.
Hall, you know how you said about not having a quarterback.
Right?
The quarterback died.
It does make me sad. He wasn't a quarterback. He was a quarterback, but he was not
He
going to be our
wasn't
starter.
the quarterback.
Nah, he was like 3rd string. He's standing there drinking water. He gets the headset when the 2nd string's got to go in.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why was he in the middle of like the road?
I have no idea. I don't have details.
They literally
That's the way that
on the
whole
road
thing
and got struck by a dump truck.
Yes.
That's the way that whole
And
thing
first off, the
is.
best player usually.
The quiet.
The pitcher doesn't control.
Do they have some screws on and stuff here?
Yes.
Is what they do.
It's not funny to pitch the ball on
I don't know.
Unlike any other game, like it's the exact opposite deal. Catching the ball is the offense. You catch the ball. Oh, from a bad Bro, I wish we had a bad defense team.
All right.
I wouldn't do it so slow.
So decomp.
I would be like 4-8.
of your favorite ones, because I know how much joy you get from these. Don't say it.
Wait, what?
What?
I know you, and it's going to be a horrible joke. Don't say it.
Does it?
Oh no.
Decomposition of oxyacid.
That's when you take acid.
Ah!
Just cut the camera off for a minute. Let him say it. I'm interested.
Yeah, I'll blow up if I don't.
Have you not learned, like, literally, I think half of us in this room can already say the joke he's thinking.
No, I can't. I didn't have gone.
Alright, so here's the thing. Whenever you're looking at oxyacid, decomposition of oxyacid, the acids breaks into two products. First one is a non-metal oxide. Second one's really hard to remember.
How can acid break? I don't even know. I'm serious.
Water.
That didn't
Pour
answer
water?
the question.
Yeah, it'll break apart into two.
Water.
Cool thing is, you take AP chemistry, you get to learn that water is an acid in a base.
Can you tell me?
But it also
Could be a
Water will donate hydrogens and accept hydrogen.
but it dilutes them too.
Yes. So,
So
We
it's
have-
it's like when you have to-
let's say, for example, let's put some practice into this.
Carbonic.
Acid.
Carbonic acid, and we heat it, so it's a decomposition reaction.
Cremation.
So we got to figure out carbonic acid first. So, use the tricks that I taught you. You know, because you guys all know these tricks. You've mastered your nomenclature skills. Carbonic acid, ic acid came from 8. So I need carbon 8,
Carbonate.
which is
Carbon arc.
CO3 2 negative.
I'm so proud.
so CO3 2 negative. Now, it's acid.
So it has an H in front of it.
How many hydrogens?
Oh no. Dose.
How did you know it was 2 besides the fact you guessed?
Because the 2 has to go down there once it bonds to it. And you have
Okay.
to have it to where it does, it goes away.
And then is that it?
Yeah.
No. Yes.
Erase the
Yes,
charge.
erase it. Hurry! Okay. You about to cause an explosion. Solve it!
He
So-
didn't drop the 2 yet. It's not sold.
Surprise!
Oh, God.
My dog soiled itself in my room the
So
other day.
H2CO3 will heat up to break into a non-metal oxide. What non-metal are we going to use? The one that's with it. So in this case, carbon. So it's, see, here's the thing. You have to lose an oxygen to the water, so just have one less oxygen. CO2,
Why do you have to lose the oxygen?
because how else are we going to get water?
Oh!
And then we can check the balance.
This is hard. That would cost you what is.
How many hydrogens on the reactant side?
Dose.
Carbon,
Uno.
oxygen. Product side, how many hydrogens?
Dose.
Carbon,
Uno.
oxygen.
Trace.
It is
Balance.
balance is in the store.
Hey, Mr. Hall has great news for you. That finishes decomposition reactions.
What's next?
Jokes about decomposing.
No more body.
The next thing will be single replacement reactions. Hey, easy from here on out.
I don't think it would be
It's
as.
I have denied.
Well, I mean, he'll be happy, but not like, see, he's just sitting here and denying it.
Congratulations. I bet you we don't know Mr. Hall.
Mr. Asbury. Morning. Okay, so synthesis reaction with oxides. We've done the first one. I wanted to do the second one with you. The second one's a little complex. The second one will be your favorite.
Is it tomorrow you want to hear?
Yes. Tomorrow I'll be at the central office getting to sit and listen to book companies present to me and say, this is why you should choose our books
Oh,
for the
yeah.
next 7 years.
The woman in there yesterday compared a book to a chemistry book, and we're like, how are we supposed to know? We don't use a chemistry book.
Yeah.
Did you say that to her?
No.
Oh, I bet
She
you.
saw that book and we all looked at her like, what?
I was like, there's a chemistry
She's like
book.
a chemistry book in the charts and the graphs, and we're like,
They
huh?
try to
What's the
present
chemistry
books to you
book?
and
There's
that
charts
you use them.
I've never heard of that before.
That's the funny thing is whenever I want to say it's Deputy Stafford, I was talking to him about it. Whenever I said I was going for that, and he said, "Oh, great! So you get to go listen to a presentation all day on books that you'll never use." That's
Yeah.
like in practice.
Yeah, but she compared him to a chemistry book. I was like,
It's hilarious.
Yeah, we was a little
we don't even
confused.
know
It's like,
what
what do you
chemistry
mean charts
book
and
looks
graphs?
like.
Do you even have books in your?
I do.
They're in the other room.
Why, y'all want one? I'll give it to you.
What do they? I just want to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
I would just like to see what those things look like.
Ew. Too big.
You can keep it.
Hey, y'all think that's bad? You should see mine from high school when I was here.
You have yours?
Probably what it teaches me.
Hey, I have that.
It's so
I have
cute.
that
It's
one.
not that bad.
I think I've seen that.
Hey, this one was hard.
Hey, that's the one I used in my locker. I think too.
All right. Anyways, the synthesis reactions of oxides.
Are we importing purple right now?
Do what?
Are we importing purple right now?
Or is it just purple?
Or is that just accidental wrong purple?
This is purple. Synthesis reactions of oxides of nonmetals with water will produce. It's gonna be your favorite one. You ready? Let the climax build. Oxyacids.
Yay. They're back.
No, but I put the dish on.
You're back. You're back.
I would say something with camera.
I appreciate that. So, when you look at these synthesis reactions of oxides and nonmetals with water, they'll produce oxyacids. This is kind of like what it'll look like. Is we have something like sulfur dioxide and water react to form, and I'll tell you it's a synthesis reaction.
Mr. Hall, you should definitely hear what Solomon has to say.
Do what?
You should know.
Yeah, you definitely should. Not out loud, just come back here and listen.
I'm good.
Not big morning.
So whenever you look at these, don't automatically try to go and put the product together. Get the chemical formulas out, because I'm going to show you the trick with this. So take sulfur dioxide, which di tells you it's spelled out for you, so you can automatically jump to the chemical formula. There's no prefix on sulfur, which means there's one. Oxide comes from oxygen. Di means there's two of them. So SO2 plus water, which everybody knows water. 2O. And these will react together, and they're going to form an oxyacid, but there's all sorts of oxyacids. So how do we know which one they're going to form? Here's the trick. I know the oxyacid is going to have sulfur in it. I know it's gonna have oxygen, but how many oxygens?
3.
It is 3. Take the oxygen from the water, add it to the oxygens you got. So SO3. Now whenever you looked at SO, sulfur and oxygens, and you looked at your polyatomic ions, what was the root ion? Awesome, sulfate.
Yeah, I was right now. I didn't have to.
You're-
I'm sorry.
So whenever we looked at sulfur and oxygen, what was the root ion for the polyatomic? Sulfate, which is SO4 2 negative. So we know the charge on this has to be a 2 negative. This is one less oxygen, so this is sulfite. Now the cool thing of it is I got making an acid. How do we make an acid? How many hydrogens? 2, because there's a 2 charge up here. What do I do with the charge now?
Take it away.
Take it away. Here's the cool thing. I didn't ask you to name this, but if I did, it's very simplistic for you. I goes to us. Sulfuric acid. Now, just like with everything else, we got to check to make sure it's balanced. So, we got sulfur, oxygen, hydrogen. How many sulfur on the reactant side?
1,
How many oxygen?
3.
Good job. There's 2 here, there's 1 there. How many hydrogens?
2.
Okay, let's go to the product side. How many sulfurs we got? 1. How many oxygen?
3.
How many hydrogen?
2.
It is balanced.
Nice.
The complexity here is knowing this synthesis reaction, that you're going to take these oxides of nonmetals with water are going to make oxyacids. That's where the complexity of this comes in at. See if I know what this is over here.
Is that? I think it's Chelsea.
Oh,
Is
yeah,
that where
that's Kelsey's.
Okay, it's okay to
Yeah.
come in. Yeah, by the way, I have no idea how that's gonna work out. Y'all literally, if all those hatch, and I actually, all those duck eggs back there are fertilized, if they all hatch, all I got to say is
I thought
hot
they
dog.
were chicken. Hey, Mr. Rose
I
said
had
he wanted
chicken.
them. That's
Do
what Mr. Rose said he wanted them. Mr. Rose.
Can I just
That's
ask
okay.
how all that happened? Because I feel like I'm out of the loop somewhere.
Oh,
I walked in one day and everybody liked eggs.
How long?
I'm like, oh.
So, if kids will bring me fertilized chicken or duck eggs, I'll put it back there in the incubator, and we'll hatch them. And then they asked me, and I was like, sure.
I can't do that in my room.
So,
When I hatch them, they just take them home.
I think they're fresh, like, they just, like,
Take
The
them home.
chicken should be much more longer,
Yeah.
maybe like 2.5 weeks.
the
That's a
chicken.
good thing, because
It
whenever
only
we
takes
come
us
back.
21 days.
Yeah, whenever we come back for spring break, we
So
could,
you
they
keep
hatch it.
I have a question.
They may hatch over spring break, Mr. Hall.
They may also need to bring it back.
What are y'all gonna do with it?
I'm taking the
I
chickens
keep
back
them
home.
for a little bit and have like a little army, and then I send them back to whoever brought
When
them.
they get big.
I'll take them back. My dog could form.
Oh, do we have a
So
cage?
you can have them, huh?
Do we have a cage?
No.
Really cold?
I thought about like sticking them all up here as I teach chemistry. Be like, my little duck and chicken army. This is what happens with synthesis reaction.
How hard is it to take care of a duck?
I keep on wanting to do you have a cat. I keep on wanting to do you have a cat. I didn't do that on the dog thing of stroking it way top.
Where are you going?
I'm gonna go just for a day to my Wait.
We should have a class for that. And make us a duck.
Alright, synthesis reaction of
I can take a jacket of 420s and have to make this.
carbon dioxide,
Why would you say that, Charlene?
and water. I want you all to try this one. You can do it.
Don't you write it?
I'll also let you guys know, another reason we ain't telling the gender is literally yesterday was the first day that they would ever identify the gender, that we have to go back in 2 weeks just to have it verified, just to be safe.
So it's from Ray.
Huh? 14 weeks.
Yeah, they told my mom my little brother was a girl at first, and we was all so happy, and then, like 2 weeks later, we went back, and then,
You remind me of my grandma.
That's okay.
My grandma has passed away now, so I can say this and not feel bad about it. Whenever my mom was having me, they didn't want to know my gender, and to my knowledge, they didn't want to know my gender. And whenever I was born, my grandma runs out of the room, bawling her eyes out because I was a boy. Like, thanks, Mama. Like, love you too.
She just spent her whole
My mom
retirement
was-
on girl stuff, and you ruined it.
my mom was happy because it was another girl, because they said always if you have a girl first, the boy will be, if you have a boy second, it'll be 10 times worse. So whenever they told her we was a girl, we were so happy, and then they told her it was a boy, and I just walked out. And then now, it's true. To have a girl first. Mom always said that if she had him first, there'd be no me. So,
Your dad would always get me. I'd come to y'all's game. He would take me,
Is
little
that the
brother.
thing?
He'd grab me by the arm and just like act like he's gonna throw him right in my lap. And I'd be like, because I was scared of like little kids. I was terrified because I'm like, man, they're depending on me for life and everything.
well, we
He'd
kinda-
always get me every time.
Well, we kind of begged him until like last year because he was more lifeless. Like they took him and was going to take him to Charleston and everything.
Oh my God.
And we was like, okay. And so we just babied him and babying didn't help. And there's no fixing him now.
It's a good thing that God gave me Mary as a wife, because she's gonna be the nurturing. Oh, it's okay, baby. I'm gonna be the.
No, you're
If
not.
you don't sign up for chemistry, you're going over there to the doctor.
No, Mr. Hall, you'll be the one that's got the biggest heart. Mary will be the one that has to be the bad guy all the time.
No, Mr. Hall will be like, you're taking AP Bio, you're taking regular
Oh,
Bio, you're taking chemistry.
If I'm teaching AP Bio, it's not going on the schedule. If it is, I'm changing it. Somebody else is teaching AP Bio.
Yeah, that's.
Mr. Lakenborg.
Or just be like,
Yeah, what it's gonna be like for him having a father in high school.
All that crap.
Most teens would not agree.
All right. So since this reaction, I give you carbon dioxide and water. So since I gave you two multiple things, you know that these are the reactants and not the products. So we set this up: carbon dioxide and water will yield to something. We just don't know what yet. I know, but we'll let this suspense happen. So carbon dioxide. Hopefully you guys can get CO2. Water, H2O. If you could not get CO2 and H2O,
Go on. Next step.
but anyway, so
Yeah, he'd have been carbon dioxide. He said that's CuO3, right? Oh, sorry, I'm tired. I worked
so these are yield out, and just like I said, take carbon and oxygen. How many oxygens we got?
3.
There's 3 of them. Do you need to worry about the name? No, I haven't asked you to name it. So, you don't need to worry about naming it, but what's the charge? Carbon and oxygen polyatomics have what charge?
-2.
-2. We gotta get that
He
before
said what?
AD next
He
year.
said what charge is that? It's a negative charge.
Alright, we gotta make it an oxyacid, right? So how we gonna make an oxyacid?
H2 in front.
H2. Get rid of the charge.
I got that wrong.
Okay,
Yay.
okay, so why do you take away the negative and then add the?
So the charge tells you how many hydrogens to put, and it's kind of, whenever you put that hydrogen on there, it hides and takes away that charge. Because what actually happens here in acids is they are proton donators. We call them proton donators because of hydrogen. This is getting ahead of where I want to finish off this reaction. When you look at hydrogen, how many protons does hydrogen have? How many electrons? One. Well, this is what happens. That's so strongly electronegative, pulls the electron off. So what's hydrogen got? A hydrogen ion is one proton but no electrons. It can have some neutrons, but practically when you're looking at the charge, it's just a proton. So that's why we call it protonation, because they give off protons, because they'll release these hydrogens out. So these hydrogens balance out the charges. That was a good question. I love the question. Thank you for your question. No question?
That's what I'm wondering, because I was like, if you got H2 there, why don't you just bring the H2 over? Right, right.
Isn't carbon a diatomic?
Carbon is not.
I was wondering why they were on the table.
I have a question. Okay, so if it was a polyatomic with 3 negative and you have hydrogen, would you still have a negative charge at the top of your thing?
For right now, where we're at, we're not in AP, so no, I'm not worried about that. Next year in AP, we'll get that up.
But if that was the case, then you would have a negative charge left and you still have H2.
That's a good one too.
So if you had like this, that's AP. And what about AP till next year and you're ready?
He's already trying to do it.
Right now, we just balance the charge. So there'd be a 3 here.
His favorite was the college, so already got prep for it.
So you, so they're, basically you're just explaining the whole rule to why you do it instead of just bringing it over? Okay.
Because the charges can be different. Like I know in this case, the hydrogens came over, but if we had phosphate over there, that's a 3 charge. You have to bring these 3. It's not about bringing it.
Also, so it's equal. So your hydrogens are always equal to the charge of the electron column?
Yes.
It's a dolly.
So even though it's an H2, like you said, if the polyatomic had 3, then it would be H3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just show her the one part.
Exactly.
Get the first back you see.
The first bag.
What in the world?
Mr. Hall. It kind of looks, hyperextended.
He liked it that way. He ate the thighs.
Oh, this is pretty serious.
Get that out of there.
This is not psychology. Forget about your whole like.
Do you still balance it out now? Like you do the whole thing?
You do, but if you look at it, it's already balanced.
Right.
Yes. So.
You gotta put it's like a cereal box. So put a puzzle on the back of it. Oh, you can ask her.
I didn't, but if you did, carbonic acid. Alright, so let's say you got synthesis reactions of metal oxides and non-metal oxides. This is going to be the last synthesis reaction. Metal oxides and non-metal oxides will produce salts. Now, I like what you're thinking, table salts and stuff. Table salt is a good example, but salts are more encompassing ideas. So salts are like ionic bonds between metals and non-metals, and
That weird voodoo stuff they try to get you to buy, the hippies.
So these aren't that bad either if you just follow through. You're going to kind of use the rule that you just took from. So let's say, for example, we have calcium oxide. And calcium oxide reacts with sulfur dioxide.
Know what you're
Yeah.
teaching. I'm a mean person.
Hey, the fact that you came to school today, don't give me lip.
I have been 3 days in a row.
Congratulations, it's a new achievement.
Imagine.
It's called attending.
Attendance
She got her
matter
absentee yesterday. I was missing out.
I don't miss anything out except in here.
Yeah, I love that. The year we choose missing school equals missing out. We call so many professional learning days and meeting days.
You know,
And kids are
We
missing.
literally don't have school like, there's 1 week, I think it's like prom week.
yeah, it is
There's
probably.
like
We
4
only
days,
have 1 day
nobody's
school.
gonna be here.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
We'll be here on Monday, and then the 12th, I think something's going on.
We'll be here Monday and
10th is
Thursday.
election day, 11th is
Yeah.
professional learning day, the 12th, nobody's gonna be here because we've already missed those 2 days.
Right.
And then the 13th is prom.
So nobody's gonna be
Yeah,
here.
so nobody's gonna be here pretty much all week.
So what, we'll have to come
I'll
Monday
come
that
Monday.
week?
Oh, no, you need to come Monday and Thursday.
Yeah,
We don't
Come
have
on
2 days
in.
a week?
that's if you choose to show up those
Oh,
days.
well, I know that there's
You're in
1 day.
chemistry, I recommend you come in first period.
Well, I'll be there both days, but I'm just saying seniors are planning their senior skip day for the Thursday before.
Yeah,
So
so
they
they'll all
won't
be
be here.
gone.
It's the
You're
Monday
doing
after.
seniors up there, y'all better come to chemistry.
No, it's before prom this year. They're doing it Thursday since there's no
That's
school
awesome.
that week.
That's cool. I want you to know, I don't recognize this. I fought this. 1 year, my second year here, I had seniors, they were calling all sorts of senior skip days. After the second one, when we were in October, I literally barged in to Miss Algebright's AP Calculus class. Barged in, apologized to her, said, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting. Pointed my finger right at the kids and told them, I said, I'm gonna tell you this right now. If you just spread the word real fast, I don't care about your stupid senior skip day. Your butt better be in physics, because if you ain't in physics, God help you. I'm gonna teach into a room full of nobody, there ain't no questions. I'm gonna roll through this material. You know what I had? Perfect attendance. All right, so you look at these, they're going to form salts, which you'll get an idea of this in a second. Take and build the chemical formulas. Calcium oxide, Ca, what's the charge on calcium? Number 20.
It's just, yeah, it's the second column, so it's from 2.
2 plus, and
Bottom.
oxide, which is, wait, I don't put a plus. 2 plus and oxide, which is 2 negative. So you can switch them, or you can see it's a 1-to-1. So you get Ca to O2. But we can factor 2 out. Take 2 off. Turn off second. This black marker is done for it.
Here's the marker.
But
It's not black, but it's white.
How many markers do you go through in a year?
too many to count. I want to know if other teachers' board get as nasty as mine. I've reached the point I need to clean it now.
Yeah, Miss
Yes.
Coles does.
Sweet.
Miss Cole don't clean hers up.
Miss Coles really don't.
She writes on it for about 4 class periods, and every class she writes between the last class's problems. That way she don't have to erase any of the problems someone asked what they did.
That's hilarious.
And then at the end of the week, or at the end of the day, I guess she just erases it and it starts the next day, because by the time we get in there, there's half a board wrote on already.
So calcium oxide, sulfur dioxide, it's spelled out for you because of the prefix, so no prefix on sulfur, so we know it's 1. Di means 2. Oxygen, oxide comes from oxygen, so it's O2. And here's what we're going to do. Do what you just did. Take the oxygen, add it to the nonmetal oxide. So SO3. What's the charge? Sulfur and oxygen polyatomics have what charge? Look at your paper, we just did. 2 negative, thank you. Now, you got to have a metal with this to make it a salt. Where's the metal going to come from?
Calcium.
Calcium. What's the charge on calcium? 2 plus. So you got a choice. You can switch them. You can cross them over. You can see this 2 will come down, be a 2. This 2 will come down, be a 2. We've got to put that in parentheses. And then you see that it's a 1 to 1, so we can factor out that 2 to where you ultimately end up with calcium sulfide. Then you can check for balance. How many calciums on the reactant side? How many oxygens?
3.
Good job. I'm so proud of y'all. Y'all are not struggling with that. Sulfur? Let's go to the product side. How many calcium? How many oxygen?
3.
How many sulfur?
1.
Are we balanced? We're done. Not bad, right?
I'll give it to you. I think,
This is synthesis reaction. That's all the synthesis reactions. Now, like I told you, synthesis and decompositions are the 2 big ones that have all the special cases that I need you to really work with. That's why I do them out the gate first, so you have time to work with them. From there, the last 3 are easy, especially the middle 2. Start talking about relationships. Sticks out in kids' hands. So, I want to introduce you to decomposition reactions. Remember, I will not be here tomorrow. I will have some work left for you to do. You'll get some points for it. Do not worry. Now, we changed the corner. Decomposition reaction. Here's the cool thing with decomposition reactions. You're kind of already familiar with it in the forward process. Now we're going backwards.
By chance, does that have anything to do with decomposing body?
That's kind of like the relationship you can draw from it.
You've already asked that.
So, hey, miss, you came to school for 3 days in a row.
I know, I'm so proud of myself.
Are you gonna make it 40 marks?
No.
Yes, I am.
She's gonna show up and then leave probably.
No.
Taking a molecule or compound, so molecule / compound, and breaking it into parts. So this is kind of like making chocolate chip cookies in reverse. I mix all my ingredients for chocolate chip cookies. Let's say I call it my chocolate chip cookie batter. I pull all the chocolate chips out and I separate them.
How did you unbake the cookie?
I filled the flux capacitor. Now I just need a DeLorean. I'm good. Y'all get that reference?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least I hope.
Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got it.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, if Dalton was here.
A few people look confused.
Don't work
Brown.
I mean, I don't watch movies and stuff, but I get references pretty well.
So here's the thing. It's like, what was the product of the synthesis reaction? AX, right?
Yeah.
Now, we're going to have A and X. These have a lot of special cases to them, and that's what makes them so difficult and hard. There is a very important key to this. These usually, and that's the key, usually takes energy. So we gotta add some energy into it normally. You're gonna see a lot of things like this. A lot of reactions. It's gonna have that triangle over it, which I told you just means I'm adding heat, enthalpy. So, and if you want to know what enthalpy is, Mr. Hall is laying the foundation for those of you that will be in AP chemistry. For some of you that haven't switched yet, we'll see you next year, because we know you're switching.
And that would be me.
Everyone look and pressure me, you've got to be joking. Well, add somebody else to my list now.
Well, you can have me.
You can stay after class. Yeah.
Wow.
Are you taking AP? You stay after class.
Well, that'll be me next year, Mr. Hollis.
Usually takes energy, so we gotta have some enthalpy for this reaction for it to take place. It also will happen in the presence of electricity. You guys remember you use those electroconductivity testers and you put it in water back there during the test? You see little bubbles forming? You know what that was? It's a process called electrolysis. You're literally taking water and breaking it into hydrogen and oxygen. It's a beautiful thing. Alright, so the first thing I want to look at is quite honestly the most simplistic decomposition reactions you'll see. The decomposition of binary compounds.
See, if we didn't do nomenclature, we wouldn't know what a binary compound is.
Yeah. Imagine the people that aren't coming to first period chemistry and that are in first period chemistry and have missed out on the chemical reactions when they're going to.
Okay, it's fine, Mr. Hall. I'll just stay. I'll just come to school and not go get blood work, and I'll die from high. What is it? I have high potassium or something like that. It's okay. It's fine.
Hey, you want to know what happens? You can always look and say, that doesn't work for me. I have first period chemistry. Like whenever me and Mary are at the doctor and they look and they say, well, we can schedule you for this time. That doesn't work for us. Well, what days work for you?
I don't want to be mean.
It's not mean. They're trying to work their schedule for you. That's like, hey, I got an eye doctor's appointment. You know what it is? Wednesday.
What time?
The 20th at 2 p.m. You know why? Because Mary has a doctor's appointment at 10 that day.
So you won't be here Wednesday? Oh, we won't be here.
What we testing? He plans.
That's the 13th.
Oh,
My eye doctor's appointment is during spring break.
We'll be the state champ.
please don't.
So, when you look at decomposition of binary compounds, the binary compound the 13th, Wednesday, breaks down into the components. I do want to take a moment to address the SAT. There's a reason we have stopped the SAT practices for you guys, unless you will makeup days. The reason we did that is we've shoved this down your throat enough, we've prepared you.
They're still doing it, guys. For certain teachers, they're killing us.
Do you want to know why they're doing it?
They think we're stupid and we're champions.
No, if you want the God's honest truth, I'll tell you, because I've said in enough data meetings to know. You guys have the most potential to really do something. Now, the truth of it is what you said earlier is not true. The seniors this year did do something. They brought us up a little bit. But you all, looking at the data, comparing, before we ever did these practices and everything with you all, you guys were already going to take us out of the mud. But then to us, it's like, there's no reason that some school in the north should be outdoing us, because we have smart kids just like them, and that's the truth. There's people in this room that I would put up against anyone in the state.
Yeah, I was gonna say go Logic.
Yeah, I'd say we're back to SAT and Miss Algebra.
Go Dalton when you show up.
This is the thing.
I'd probably miss it.
I say that to be real with you. There is something special about your class. There really is. Like, whenever y'all leave, I will be sad and heartbroken. But there's a time that somebody's got to spark and kick you out the nest, and I might as well be me. I will miss you all.
You know what I mean?
No, I will. I'm talking as a whole class. You all I will miss. Now, there's other pieces to the senior class. Love them to death. But let's be
We're hurt
honest.
here.
You got
Get rid
some
of
scared little babies in your
Get rid
senior class. A bunch didn't take chemistry and wouldn't take physics. You're in chemistry. You took it. You rose to the occasion. So, you all, I will miss. It is a challenge. It is hard. Oh well. Now,
We would knock off the senior stage. That's goodbye. One of our secrets.
You may want to edit this video.
what'd you do?
Hey, Hernando.
Charlotte did
Hey, Hernando.
I was talking to them and they said that the camera heard it. So
But I highly doubt it because I didn't even hear it.
yeah, see, I didn't even hear it. So.
I didn't hear you.
Hey, seriously though, this is all I'm asking of you. When you take the SAT next Wednesday, just try.
If we get the people who just don't try to try, it probably wouldn't be bad.
It'll change the world.
No, we have her in it. I'll really.
It don't matter if you bring him over there. He's going to scream across the room.
He is the chief though.
No, you do.
Alright, I'm done with the SAT now. So, looking at it, let's say for example we have something like mercury to oxide. And I heat it up. So whenever you're looking at this, it's a decomposition reaction, as you know. You have mercury to oxide, which is made from mercury and oxygen, which is a binary compound. Therefore, we know binary compounds are going to break into their components. So the first component is
Mercury.
mercury.
Nice. Oh my God, we're doing planets now.
Yay.
And the second is oxygen. So then whenever you look at this, now we got to get the equation, the chemical formula equation. So mercury 2 oxide, that's Hg2 plus. Remember that Roman numeral tells the charge, not how many there is. Oxide comes from oxygen, O2 negative. Switch them. So that's Hg2, O2.
The twos cancel.
2's cancel out, factor 2 out, so we just get HGO. Hopefully you're working with that nomenclature skills and that's not something you're letting fall to the wayside because we're not leaving it alone. So we heat this thing up and it yields mercury. What's mercury? HG. Oh, it's
I'm playing that.
Oxygen is
O2. Auto parts. Ow!
I'm gonna make a prediction. Because you're not here, you're gonna mess up on the diatomics. Because you wanna know what makes this so good for me? I get to ask you about a diatomic, but I never ask you about a diatomic. Because I never gave you this, I gave you this.
And you know it's funny too?
I'm excited.
I'm the one that always screams at Elijah over diatomics.
Yeah, it's irony.
Scream aim back. Alright, so we gotta check balance. We got mercury, oxygen. So you guys talk with me. How many mercuries on the reactant side?
Oh no.
How many oxygen on the reactant side?
Oh no.
Product side, how many mercury?
Oh no.
Oh, no.
How many oxygen?
No bueno.
Balanced?
No.
So what we gotta do balanced?
You can put a 2 in front of the HGO.
So big 2,
Yeah.
You got to poopy in front of it.
okay.
Drop a big
And then you get 2 Hagal.
It's pretty good.
Hagal. You get tools, and you get tools, and then you
So I got some mercury, 2 oxygen.
It's still not done. You gotta put a tool in front of the HT on the product side. Then you get
So it's
2 Hagal tools.
But not
So
behind.
at this point, we probably need some Pepto-Bismol because we're jumping, dropping some big tubes. So, thank you for this.
Hey, we are not.
My mom is from Dumbright.
So now we're balanced.
Hey, that's what that applied done.
Mr. Hoffman, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
How did you get the 2 one for the oxygen?
Right here.
No, on the other side.
No.
Is it where that one? Okay.
Yeah, where this one's a 2 here and this was a 1, I needed a 2. I can't put a 2 here because if I do, that changes the chemical.
It's almost like
So if you
multiplication.
put a big 2 in front of that HCO, both of them change, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
It's almost like math, like you progress it.
Yeah.
Here's the really important part to this. Whenever you're adding numbers into these and you're trying to balance, you can only put big coefficients. Never put small.
Okay.
Okay? When you're balancing, never change the small number.
I do the 1,
Questions?
do the 3,
Okay? Let's look at another case. And I remember, synthesis and decomposition are the backwards.
No, you know the reason why I did
bad habits,
Oh, I didn't think that's bad.
Did you work this morning?
No, Aiden is.
You didn't think it's medicine either.
Now I'm back on it.
I don't know.
Water.
I always run out on the weekends, I ain't got nothing to do. I just lay in bed and I cry. I cleaned my room, I was up till 2 o'clock this morning cleaning my room.
How are you still so popular?
Clean up the car.
I feel like if you were in 8th period, it'd be so much better.
No, wouldn't
Why?
he still be helping?
No, I think it'd be worse.
No, it'd be way worse.
You crash.
You could put Donald all over there and he would still talk.
Nobody in here is in my 8th period. Whitney is. Yeah.
I'm in here. I'm in there.
Yeah, good job, Emily, you're in here.
Oh, God.
Kick him out. Now.
Please.
I will say this, is I'm actually really excited for 4th period today.
Well, y'all got another test on Monday.
Okay, are you okay? Do I need to check your temperature?
What am I talking about?
Why are
What
you
did we leave
excited?
off on?
Oh my God, that visible light spectrum. Chemistry.
So I got to talk about how color works. So now I get to graph how color works and combine it to photosynthesis, and I'm pretty excited.
So what you're saying is I don't have to study for it.
Can you call that damn
Yeah,
fourth
you can.
period?
Yeah.
So we can skip the AP psych quiz?
No.
All
Alright, so metal carbonates,
Take the long.
brakes,
She asked if you studied.
down into
Fell together. Make good good.
metal oxides and carbon dioxide. And at this point, if you don't know that right off the top of your head, carbon dioxide, CO2, we're going to need some help.
If it's not tight, you'll fall out.
So let's say, for example, I give you calcium carbonate. Oh, wait a second. I'm giving you the formula. Got it.
CA.
It's so funny how life actually is at school.
So we take calcium carbonate and we break it apart. What are we doing?
He's talking about shooting.
No,
Carry on.
Carry on.
Carry on.
If anybody jumps, I'll let you know.
Okay, so this is calcium carbonate.
Okay, calcium carbonate.
And then what's next?
We'll heat it and it breaks down into metal oxide,
Oh, calcium.
carbon dioxide. So
The carbonate is
So it's going to break down into a metal oxide. The metal is your calcium, so it's calcium oxide.
I'm calling my mom.
and carbon dioxide.
We're crying, dog.
So we gotta get calcium carbonate, right?
Wait, I got a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so why the calcium oxide exactly?
Because he said.
Metal oxide. Where's the metal gonna come from?
Calcium.
Oh.
Man, I really need to clean my pores.
That's a good idea.
Evidently that white class didn't. White
Oh no.
Evidently that white class didn't teach you new one.
Calcium. Charge them calcium plus carbonate.
What you
Throw it out to me because I know your polyatomic.
CO2 3 negative.
No.
Is it what? CO3 2 negative. 3 God.
CO3 2 negative.
Where'd you get the 2 negative?
The carbonate has -2 charge. And I just know it.
Yeah. And you cross them.
We're not
Cross.
And they cancel out.
What?
They would not twos cancel.
No,
They will.
What is it? But there's
Yeah, but you can't.
Yeah, but that's 3.
So CA
Come
2.
up there and take all the strings off of your outfit.
Well, it'd be CO5.
okay. See, that's what I wondered.
CO3 within in parentheses and 2, but it's 2 calcium, 2 carbonate. So this cancels. Simplify the CaCO3.
I'm always messy. The other day.
Then I have calcium oxide. Calcium was charged.
Wait, I have a quick question. I didn't know this when I was doing my nomenclature. If you put a parenthesis around that polyatomic right there, is that wrong?
Right here?
Yeah.
Yes.
How is that wrong?
Because you just need one. You don't need multiple.
Okay.
So calcium oxide, Ca2 plus. Oxide, 2 negative.
Cow.
So you can cross them again. It's going to be Ca2O2. Simplifies out to CaO. And the other product is calcium, is carbon dioxide, not calcium.
Calcium dioxide.
So then we got to look and check for balance. Have calcium, carbon, oxygen. On the reactant side, how many calcium? How many carbon? How many oxygen? Let's go to the product side. How many calcium? How many carbon? How many oxygen? Good catch. Don't forget that one's by itself.
Good job, guys.
Mr. Hall, you know.
It's a very simplistic breakdown for you. And then on the back side, I gave you one that's more like what, well, honestly I did this and I was given this one in high school, and this is back from when I was at AP Chem in here. And I still had it here, so I decided to give you a copy to you. This stuff here at the MOLA, freezing points, boiling points, don't worry about those. That's AP Chem stuff. That has nothing to do with this. I'm stressing to you, all that stuff down there, freezing, all that one, don't worry about that, okay? Until next year. Don't need to worry about that.
There you go.
That's the reason why Aiden and them won't transfer to AP Chem. You're scaring them.
I ain't scaring them. Salt. I'm not about kids being babied.
Keep sending
Your poor baby's not.
Like how they got married. Our little baby. Run out there, ride a bike. It's just a barely a scratch. Stop crying. Shut up. Throw some dirt on it. She looks at Kevin, they're 3. I learn sometimes. Okay. I think you guys will like this. single replacement reactions. If you look at single replacement reactions, these things practically break down to look at and say that more active metals these guys are more active metals will replace less active metals.
What do you mean by active?
We get to this. More active halogens will replace less active halogens. So this is kind of like what you're going to see like a breakdown. So you got substance A, and then you have this molecule compound, substance BX. Mix those together, reaction happens. You get AX and the E. Now, we need this to stick out in your brain, to stick in your mind. Mr. Hall is going to talk about some things today that may apply to you. May apply to friends that you have and people that you know. Why Mr. Hall is talking? For the love of God, do not throw out names.
Can we use sign language?
Do not name anybody. And if this applies to you, I have no idea. I have no clue. I'm just...
We'll tell on ourselves.
Yeah, please don't. That's awkward and weird for me.
We'll pull it off.
I don't know, sounds fun, let's go.
Whenever you talk about single replacement reactions, the best way for this to stick out in your mind is this.
I'm not looking at what I just said.
Yeah.
That is so funny. I know all about it.
High school relationships. Oh, the fun that they are. They really remind me of single replacement reactions. So this is kind of how the whole thing goes.
We can use the A's as the senior and the B as the freshman. Yeah. That's not names, that's just grade level.
Stop it.
You didn't specify.
Stop it. So this will stick out in your mind. Say you got A here. So A, we'll call this one.
We'll call it S.
Is that black?
Yeah, it's just black. How bad I want to get with this.
You can always turn off the video.
You can always turn off the video for 5
Put it
minutes.
back on there later. Let's get real with it.
Come
Have
on,
this conversation.
you're going to relate it to
And then we'll
actual
go
high
back.
school. I done told you the perfect duo to put on. That's the truth and you know it.
Okay, so let's say A is
Correct.
we're just gonna go
You can use me if you want to.
girl number 1.
Oh, come on. I have the perfect scenario.
Just stop. So here's girl number 1. And so girl number 1 is all by herself. Single
She's independent.
as a Pringle ready to mingle.
No.
Okay. And then you go over here and you got
Jock number.
Compound BX. Compound BX is couple in love.
Oh, I get it now. I know what you're about to do.
Oh my gosh.
Gonna spend forever together.
No, they're not. For about 5 more minutes.
Forever.
And so you know in this relationship, in this couple, we gotta kind of break it down. So you know, you got X. You know how X is. X is
Crazy.
the dude. Easy. You know how the dude is. Rico Suave. Swag central. I mean, their drip, super fire.
Oh my lord.
I mean, dude walks in,
I mean, you're making
and
this
temperature
Bruno
and room.
Mars. He's Bruno Mars. The dude's Bruno Mars.
There you go.
So basically James Bond.
Right.
Yeah, Bruno Mars.
He ain't James
You
Bond
need
yet.
more like Usher
No,
as this example.
no, we're going.
And then you gotta look at substance. You know, you gotta look at B up here. B is girl number 2. Don't name names.
I'm not.
You're making it so hard.
She is on fire. I mean, she's like a super hot magma.
She's just a girl and she's on fire.
So you got BX, the couple, that they've been together. You know how high school relationships go for 2 weeks, and they know that they're meant to be forever, and they're going to spend forever together. They love each other, and it's just so great and wonderful and awesome and incredible. And you know, you can ask them what each other's favorite colors are, and they're like, I didn't know they had one.
Hey, you're old.
I didn't know they could see color.
So you know what happens, you know? Down the hallway, you're at a ball game, something going on. You got couple BX over here, and next thing you know, girl A, she walking by, and it's like,
Please let me say it, please.
and then you got BX, and you know how it is. They're standing there, and it's like, yeah, baby, yeah, girl, I love you. You're so fine. You're like super hot magnet, girl.
And then it's like,
Let's
oh,
be
look.
forever together. And there come girl A come by, and it's like, yeah, we together forever.
Until now, 5.
You know, the dude almost broke his neck.
And then he gets smacked in the face, and then it's like,
Nah.
it's over.
So next thing you know, it's like, you know, they get over it. Before you know it, it's like, oh, BX will be together forever. They'll never break up. And you go to sleep that night, and you wake up the next morning. The next thing you know, wow, it's breaking down. Out of nowhere, at 1 a.m., X broke up with B, and then B is now over here, and girl B, which I remind you, I gotta follow my notes, is girl number 2.
You're killing me.
Now she's singing.
Like she should. She's not sad. Don't put the sad face.
Oh, she just got broke up with.
She's probably happy she got rid of him. Probably smacked him in the face.
They were in love.
They were going to spend forever together.
This is not my key freshman year's fault.
Huh.
Whoa!
I said don't name names.
Hey, come on.
Yeah, take that up. Alright, carry on.
And
for all you need, just start a war.
Don't start talking about new freshmen. Amber?
Hey!
My face is like, why does it look like a sad little spider? Because I don't like mine the same way.
Every sad little
It's a sad little spider.
And Amber and.
It's not just you though.
Hey,
Shut up.
Hey! Like Miss Charlotte said, I have no idea about y'all's relationships. This year I put my foot in my mouth 3 times with students of mine because they were in a relationship with somebody, and I asked how things were going, and like, we broke up. When did that happen? 2 months ago. Oh. My bad.
Well, my scenario was better, okay? And it didn't involve.
We don't need names.
Was
Scenario was
You don't even.
Was it?
Yeah.
So then you got, then now we got AX.
Wow, you're a sophomore.
AX is new cup. You know how this whole game plays out, right?
Yeah.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
She gets revenge and kills him.
Whoa.
Not quite like that.
Okay, are you
I'm
watching
worried about
something
you.
way too much?
Psychopath.
Yeah, this is all body break chemistry.
You
See,
watch?
I told you. I told
We'll
you.
take care of your life.
I'm worried about you.
If you got that.
Hey, there's a medicine that if you inject it under the.
Hey!
Yeah, it's overtime passive.
Yeah, it does show up.
Exactly.
It don't show up in
Yeah, under
like
the tongue, you'll hear it.
Don't cancel on
and
YouTube.
the tongue feels itself,
It was in the
so
heart
it's
rate.
just natural
Yeah.
causes.
Don't kill him,
You
YouTube.
know the cause.
Don't cancel him, YouTube.
Okay, anyway, so sorry. I didn't know y'all were this passionate about relationships.
Well, no, we're just that passionate about.
All right, so now we got this new cup. And you know how the whole thing goes. BX broke up at 1 a.m.
Then they back.
Hey,
It's 7:10, and you see AX, the new couple, at 7:10 a.m. walking down the hallway holding hands.
I hope they ain't awake there.
And that's when it all gets interesting, because then Miss Hospital get on the intercom and talk to the 1% and say, you know, you got problems with somebody, come down here and let me know. I need to know first, be the first to
And
know.
then they don't
And they're
tell her,
not.
and then we get cops and.
You got all sorts of problems.
And then a war breaks. And then a war with 2 different factions.
And you know how this all plays out.
Somebody
You know,
brings
what happened to B is going to happen to A, and X will leave A and find C. I mean, it's a never-ending evolving.
I done
They
told
just
you
put that on the alphabet.
I done told you the perfect scenario with the age groups in school and you don't listen.
That's because I'm going to say without, and you guys will not pick up with this.
It's like,
It was years ago.
they get boyfriends.
I literally, there's this girl that came in as a freshman, and I'm on duty in the morning. I'm standing there, and out of nowhere, I watched this girl walk down the hallway with a guy.
Then she comes back.
And I'm like, wow, that was fast. Then next thing I know, I'm on duty at lunch. I see the same girl walking down the hallway with a new guy. And I'm like,
You got one with your boyfriend.
Come on, so well.
no.
I did that for
She's
free.
got
So then, I'm like, my gosh. That high school relationship went real quick. Then, you break it over, and it's the next day. I see her walking with a new guy. And I'm like, what in the world?
Take a player, break the game.
There you go.
Yeah.
She was playing the game, that's for sure.
Hey, she was a freshman, she's thinking with her head, because you see, the upperclassmen think they're very smart, but they're not.
Anyway, I seen this girl, and I'm not exaggerating. It had to be
She was
with
playing you. They weren't
at
playing.
least, yes, she was playing them.
I bet she didn't know what to do when they
Okay,
lost.
I used the guy in this case, but let's be honest, ladies, y'all just as bad, if anything, a little bit worse.
Nuh-uh, that's not true. Lisa, senior guys will pick on a freshman girl, and then when she becomes a sophomore and the new freshman
Well,
girls
when
come,
you
they're like,
put,
bye.
don't single out
Yeah,
just
you're
one
not a freshman
grade.
anymore.
But if you look at every grade in the entirety, girls are definitely worse at it.
That's what I'm saying.
Especially in its class.
Yes. Yes.
We have a code name, don't ask.
I don't want to know.
Then you have to stop the video.
I'd have to delete it.
No.
Probably.
Yeah.
Freshman?
This girl, no joke, I had to see her within the first month, holding hands.
Wait,
man,
how
talking.
many years ago was this?
I'm not saying.
You gotta
Sorry,
say, you gotta
teacher.
say, was it 3 years ago?
I'm not
Are
telling
they
you.
a senior now?
I'm not telling you.
If it is, I know who it is, it's it.
I'm not telling you.
Nobody's the only person who knows who it is.
But I had to see this girl within the first month. She went around with at least 10 to 12 different
Yeah,
guys.
it is.
And I'm like,
It's gotta be.
what in the world? I'm like, I can do whatever. Look, if you were in high school and that girl came up to you and started talking, it's like you knew what was going to happen. You just say, nah, peace out.
You gotta come over here and let us know you it is, and you gotta shake your head just a minute.
I hate that.
Because I know it has to be it.
Man, I want to do something, but I gotta say it off the record.
You got time to
I don't care.
Yeah, we're telling you that we already
They're
know
going to tell
it
me and
is.
try to read my facial reaction. They're going to be like, oh yeah, it's it.
Because it is a senior now, and it is really much like that still to this day.
Okay, anyway, so I took up almost all my space here with the board, so let me add a little note here.
Yeah. That's it, Robin.
Well, often take See, I told you, this is stick out in your
I
mind.
said, oh, yeah. That's plenty.
I'm about to say it.
Stop!
You too friendly with you.
Stop it.
Will often take place in.
Aqueous
No, you're too friendly with it.
solution.
You will, because you know who it is very personally.
What does that word even mean?
Water.
Water.
Aqueous.
It's a good day to be
I won't
alive.
tell you.
But
Yeah, it is. Hey, Clay. Clay.
We said it.
Who's it?
The Pennywise, the clown in the movie. They look just alike.
Yeah, it's a whole new.
okay, that's a little mean.
Go scan the hallway. Go scan the
I
hallway.
would have never guessed
You don't have to be mean.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
No.
So let's see, let's go. Let's go. Let's go, because I'm telling.
2 days ago.
Oh, no, they're not out there. It's probably not here.
posted.
It likes to be late.
You stop!
And now she's
It's never ending.
well, not stone.
Stop!
It'll be here, 8 period.
Okay.
YouTube, Mr. Hall is not taught for this. It is.
What's the aqueous solution?
So it's like water, so it's kind of like one thing you're gonna see is whenever we come back from break, I'm gonna set up some demonstrations. And my goal is to have like 2 clear solutions, if I can, mix them together, and then I know where the clear solutions, it turns like mercury, and it has a precipitant that comes out. A good example of this single replacement reaction will actually be your next lab that you do. The next lab that we do is Real Deal. You will be dealing with Real Deal chemicals. Chemicals will be so real that Mr. Hall will be pouring one of them. You will not be allowed to touch them.
Why do I feel like we're gonna die?
Are you that afraid we're going to hurt somebody with it?
No,
hurt
it's that
yourself.
this is so strong that if it touched your skin, you would immediately go to the shower, but you would
Well,
still
you
be
want to pour it on
permanently scarred.
yourself?
Yeah, I'll take one for the team.
How do you want to get 30 of us out of
You
the
have
room?
to go home?
I just yell.
You just gotta get the,
I get
the main
bad
goal is the
voice. Get
women.
out!
The main goal is the women getting out first. That's the main goal.
I foresee we're all gonna die in this.
I don't plan.
Why do I feel
I
like
don't plan on spilling it on my clothes.
We're not
Okay.
trying to catch cases, guys. Chill.
Mr. Al, why do I feel like we're all gonna die in this experiment coming?
So even if you just got it on your hand, you're shower bound.
Good nose.
I would go to the shower just to get some more flow of water. Just straight up on it. Because what it is, it's 12 molar hydrochloric acid. This stuff is stronger than what's inside your stomach. So, I will be pouring it because you need 5 milliliters of it within a uniliter tube. Huh?
You see that?
No.
Damn, yeah, I'm just going.
Yeah. We know he plays around. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right,
You guys are asking to get reported. Just chill.
so let's say,
We need to write a whole paper, Mr. Anthony.
Yeah. He likes true work so hard.
He likes dark humor.
let's say for example, I give you a single replacement reaction of zinc and copper 2 sulfate. I don't want the proper chemical formula. So in this case,
I bet there's somebody out there who learns chemistry on their free time from your videos.
Seriously,
I hope it's somebody that
I don't
doesn't
know.
even go to Westside.
There's definitely somebody that's like not around here that is probably
Like,
just
I
learning
love
chemistry.
Westside.
I wonder if you could get somebody to do that. Like, get somebody that doesn't take the class next year to watch all the videos and see if they can pass the AP exam.
It won't happen.
Why?
Because even kids that miss in here, they go home and they watch videos and they're still lost. Like,
Hey, some
you can't
people learn
replace
better for videos.
Yeah, very few.
Well, you might find one.
Like I have one kid right now that has been missing, so I hope when we come back from break that I feel like that my lunch is spent tutoring this kid.
Well, it will be.
I have a feeling that's
So,
I hope Dalton will
we have
watch
copper 2 sulfate. So copper 2 is Cu 2 plus sulfate SO4 2 negative.
Yeah, send them the
You
bottom
should
part of the chart. Say
literally
this is
read
the
the
test tomorrow.
papers in the
Yeah.
morning and be like,
And say
okay,
it's all
time
written
for our
again. Tell them what we
test.
had to know.
Dalton's heart will drop his beat.
It's a 1-to-1 ratio, so it just cancels out to be Cu SO4.
Y'all go back here for this.
How come we don't have to use parentheses?
Because there's only one, so like what I'm saying is you would have started like this,
And we'll just cancel each other out.
but it's 2 to 2,
Read that.
which means I can factor 2 out, which means when I factor 2, I just need one sulfate, so I don't need
Well, I will.
the parentheses there. Okay, so in this case, when you look at it, you got the superfine liquid hot magma girl walking down, and there's a couple that's been together for a week and a half, and they're gonna get married because they're destined and they're soulmates, and they're gonna spend the rest of their lives together. And even though that 2 weeks ago they was in a relationship with somebody else, and it was like, oh, we were gonna spend forever together. That one they were totally wrong about for the 5th time, but now this one's gonna work out perfectly.
Yeah.
Why are you looking at me? You don't even know nothing about me. If you did, you wouldn't talk to me.
It says palm color.
I don't think.
You don't want to read that. You get mad.
You probably don't know after she said prom's coming up.
Yeah, somebody made a post on Facebook. The
You
prom's
still
coming
don't
up.
get
No, it's nothing about our prom or anything
No.
bad. It is
It's
just a
just
joke that somebody's trying to make.
Yeah.
About
Prom is coming
prom
up 2
thing.
for 60.
Oh my gosh.
Alright, so what you gotta do is you gotta look on your activity series.
You guys gotta chill out.
And so what you have to do on this is you have to find the 2 pieces that you have. So,
You're late for all
You should be happy you're late.
just read the board.
Read the board.
Okay, so this is what you gotta do. You have to find the 2 that's gonna react.
A plus BX and then AX plus B. Just read that, that's all you gotta do, then you'll know.
So this is what happens. Find the 2 that's gonna replace. It's either gonna be the 2 metals or 2 halogens. So we have zinc, that's by itself, and copper is the other metal. So Owen, this is what's gonna answer your question. What do you mean more active? It means it's more reactive. The one that is more active or reactive is the one that's going to fill in. So whenever we look at our chart, find zinc. Zinc's trying to replace copper. So zinc's here in the middle. and you find copper, copper's down here. Zinc is higher up, so most active. Zinc's more active. So it will react, break the relationship, and form a new one. So you get copper by itself, and then zinc, super hot magnifier, girl, gets with the, you know, they do. I told you.
I'm gonna always remember it as the.
Ladies and gentlemen, so today we got to move forward with our chemical reactions. I'm so happy you are here. And like always, no naming names, no pointing anybody out. And if this has happened to you, Mr. Hall did not know that, he apologizes, and please do not say it happened to you, because I would prefer not to know. Today, we talk about double replacement reactions. Double replacement reactions are quite possibly the easiest ones you're going to have. Because either way it goes, it's given to you. You just got to flip them around. Because what will happen are ions of two compounds. Just change places. That's it. Nothing hard about it. Just it. It's pretty easy. So like always, you have general overview formula. So let's say that you have AX and BY. Some of y'all are smart enough, you're going to see where I'm going with this. And we just flip them. Now, it's not as important as which ones you flip, as long as you flip A or B, or X and Y. So, we can have AY and BX. Now, you've seen this before. You've absolutely seen this before. I mean, come on. You know what double replacement reactions remind me of?
High school relationships.
High school relationships. I felt awful because in the 8th period class, chemistry class, whenever I was talking about single replacement reactions at the end of me explaining the scenario, somebody went, "Oh my God, he just described my life." And I was like,
We already know who that was.
Who was it?
I'm not saying. I felt sorry for the person. I was like, man, that's sad. But it fits. Okay. So to the high school relationship dynamic that you all know and live and get to see each and every day of your life. Please don't name any names. I did hear, it's funny, every year I'm making this point, I start these talks. Never fails. Some high school relationship drama starts. I found out yesterday some high school relationship drama had started.
Perfect scenario was over.
So there I was, right there in the mouth. But then I didn't, because I realized it was against the law. This is all jokes, guys.
We're about to pull a Chris
Hey,
Brown.
Amber Heard. You go flip on her too.
All right, so here you have couple number one. And of course, You gotta have couple number 2. So you know how the couples are. You know, been together for a week and a half, 2 weeks, gonna live forever. You know, forever together.
Well, they just got tired of one another and said, here, you take this one and I'll take that one, then we'll swap back later.
Hey. This is my scenario. I'm working out. Don't you interject. So y'all know how it goes. Forever together. That's why you will always remember the reactions. So you know how it is. You got A is with X, is happy with X. B is with Y, really happy with Y. But then next thing you know, A starts looking and is like, wow, why? You're looking mighty fine. How you doing?
Pulling Austin Powers.
High school relationships. Interns.
Yeah, baby.
Just stop. You know how it is. You know. B's like so happy with Y, but then B's like,
But why?
yo baby, yo, how you doing, X? Hey yo, X, how you doing? They're still in a relationship. But then, out of nowhere, after this been going on for a month, and we didn't see the Snapchat, so we didn't know what was going on behind the scenes. The whole time, A and X was together, you had A snapping Y and Y snapping A. But the whole time that A and Y was
Mr.
snapping.
Hall,
Yeah?
can I see Monica for a minute?
She's in
She's-
Lester's room.
Where?
Miss Lester's.
She's voting for prom court right now.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, anyway, back to my scenario. So A is snapping Y and Y is snapping A, and nobody knows any of this is going on. So this is all going on while A is with X and Y is with B. But A is snapping Y and Y is snapping A, and next thing you know,
You see him?
B starts snapping X and X starts snapping B.
And then you pull up a Pizza Hut and they're with
And they're all hanging out.
And then next thing you know,
All they're all buddies, but they never tell you.
Yeah, because this actually happened.
the couple that's been together, or the two couples have been together forever, all of a sudden, you get up and it says single as a Pringle ready to mingle on Facebook.
With your best friend.
And you're like, holy smokes.
Oh my God, Molly, Miss Table wants you.
You gotta go Miss Davis.
Yes, please go to step.
Go Miss Davis.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, you're Molly.
You're Molly.
I mean, why?
I
don't know.
She's asked for you.
We knew it was.
So the next thing you know, out of nowhere, A and X broke up and B and Y broke up. And everyone's like,
No,
what?
this is double.
And the next thing you know,
And then the next thing you know, it's the evening, and you hitting up Mickey D's gonna get you a McChicken,
My
add a slice of cheese.
That's
My
what this
cousin
is. You
does
see,
this.
they
I
just
forgot about
stop.
that.
So it's the same thing.
So next thing you know, while you're there, you pull up and you go, hey, there's Ace car. What?
I'm not gonna miss
What's
it.
Lon doing there?
What do I do in here?
She did do it. Not more than ours.
You want a way to
New
know?
couple.
You want a way to understand this?
No, go ahead and understand it now.
Okay, so this is double replacement reaction.
And then it's like, holy smokes.
And here's the.
But then, you know, your BFF, it's your ride or die that's with you. You running down to Pizza Hut because they're like, I ain't eating that nasty Mickey D. I'm going to get me large stuffed crust meat lovers with extra cheese and a side of sauce.
They get tired of each other.
And you get down there and you're like, hey, there's B's car. What?
And then they all just hang out together.
B and X are hanging out? Holy smokes. Then next thing you know, y'all are sitting there sending snaps to everybody like, oh my God!
Next thing
A and Y's together. Hey, did you know about B and X?
And they just become
Then we got a new couple.
This sounds like every high school relationship I've ever seen.
I've pretty much in the last 2 days covering reactions with you all have covered high school relationships with you.
Yes, yes, you have.
Free of charge.
I just said, you take this.
So,
I'll take that one.
As weird as it sounds, absolutely yes, 100%. They just swap.
Yeah, we know. How come the men understand? Oh,
Did I not explain it?
they were in
They
there.
None of them were in
Do I need to explain it again?
No, because I just told
If you
them a
want
real
to.
life situation to explain it to them, so now they understand.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. I kinda wanna hear him.
Okay. Everybody focusing.
Yeah.
These are my favorite type of high school relationships, the ones that I go,
Then you should have been at Magic Park last summer.
But I've one summer day.
that would have been weird. I'd rather be home with my wife.
All just rolls up,
We
eyes
said-
up, back
You
and
would have
forth.
looked into
In the
Pizza
parking
Hut
lot,
and seen
eats the
exactly what you
McChicken,
just
scope out
described.
the Pizza Hut people.
Please! Every year I see what I just described walking the hall.
No, it was hilarious, so this one was fun.
No, this was a night to night thing.
This was like,
Yeah.
you see them at McDonald's parking lot one day was one,
They
and
come
then
down to
they go to
Magic
Pizza
Mart and
Hut.
they're with the other one.
Yeah, and then they both just like, I took your boyfriend, well I took your boyfriend, so we'll just be best friends now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll play cornhole in the McDonald's parking lot.
Until the cops come.
Hey, you know what's
All right,
funny?
stop.
This isn't just high school. This happened in the 80s.
Everybody knows.
This is in real life.
Okay, anyway, so here's how the whole thing works out. So you know how it is. High school relationship scenario number 2. You got this one couple that are madly in love, going to live forever together. You got couple number 2 that are madly in love, they're going to live together forever. You got A's with X, and A is so happy. And you got B with Y, B is so happy. But next thing you know, while A's with X, A looks over and sees Y. And he's like, hey, how you doing, sugar mama? The next thing you know, goes home, A starts snapping Y behind everybody's back, nobody knows what's going on. Still stays with X, which is like awful, you should never do that. Okay? Let me take a brief moment, step out of the chemistry teacher
It
and
wasn't
step
us.
into the role
It wasn't us.
as some daddy advice for you. If you are A, you should never be with X and snapping Y.
It wasn't us.
I know that, but I'm
It
telling
was
you
the
you
class
shouldn't.
above us.
You should
Shut up.
be called.
You shouldn't
Yeah.
be caught, Dalton said.
Shut up.
You could just clear the conversation. Nobody knows.
I bet people watching that video like, man, he must be a player. But then everybody who really knows Dalton
Never mind.
knows he's Dalton.
You gotta get blackmailed. So be like, if you tell people.
Hey, can I still work my stereo here?
Sure.
Back to the daddy advice. You should never be that person. If you are out looking for somebody else, then the person you're with, you see them as number 2, and you shouldn't be hurting that person like that. Dear God, drop them like a hot potato, because that'll hurt them a little bit, but it ain't going to hurt them as much as whenever you run off and you figure out that you're going to be with Y, and you drop X to be with Y.
No, they probably doing it to
I
you
see
if
this
you
on
doing it
TV
to
show.
them.
No, you shouldn't do it.
I said if you are, they probably are doing it to you.
You shouldn't do it. Whenever it happens, it's awful.
This is the definition of every Tyler Perry movie.
Like the newest one, like the Medea Homecoming, where they get home and it's like, hey, son, I'm dating your best friend. And it's like,
I'm dating your best friend.
oh yeah,
What
son,
everybody
I'm dating your
thought
mom's
was-
best friend.
When did Tyler Perry come into his
I'm so confused.
Turns out-
Hey,
You
anyway,
ever
so
watched that movie?
A is snapping with Y. Next thing you know, B looks over at X and it's like, hey, okay. So B starts snapping X, and the whole time none of us know this is going on except for A, X, B, and Y. They're all snapping.
Tell you're doing that.
I know, right?
No, just say
So then they're all going back and forth, snapping. And the next thing you know, you wake up one morning, and A and X broke up, and they're single as a Pringle ready to mingle, and B and Y broke up, single as a Pringle ready to mingle. The next thing you know,
At 7:20 in the morning, they're different couples.
7:20 in the morning. That's perfect. I'm gonna write that up here. 7:20. You chose the
And
time.
then at 8 o'clock, you see them at McDonald's playing cornhole together.
Yeah. Damn.
I'm sorry,
7:20.
we won't let you all play cornhole in the parking lot.
It's
We
okay,
know.
We'll move to Magic.
Okay, it's okay.
We got the cops called on us in both places.
7:20 a.m. or 7:20 p.m. Doesn't matter. The fact of it is when you look at the situation, you got the new couple.
So you
Yeah,
got to
but
do it in
they're
the
okay
morning.
with it. They're content.
So you have to be cruel. You have to do it in the early morning, so when they wake
They're
up, they
content.
find out.
They just said, I'm tired of
I've
this
always
one,
wanted
so
to
you
break up
take
with
it.
somebody about this post on
Maybe-
Facebook.
Maybe there's no problem.
We'll go back to single replacement reaction. Was that okay?
That's up to them.
I don't remember that. You should tell. You should tell.
Yeah, that was
Go to
here for
school.
that one. But if they are content, then
Now,
it's okay.
let's get out of the high school relationship drama field. And let's bring it back to the chemistry field.
If you could
Okay.
relate everything to that, that's everything.
That's my new goal. That's what I'm gonna start
Because
doing.
as soon as you started explaining that, like 4 names popped in my head, and that's how I'm understanding this whole scenario.
Yeah, me too, and the single replacement ones too.
I told you.
That's why everybody here.
Hey, I'm just saying, for the record, if we have two couples here at school that all of a sudden break up in the middle of the night and they end up walking around with somebody new the next morning, tomorrow morning, you do not come and look and say, Mr. Hall called it. Mr. Hall is totally out of this conversation 100%.
This happens over the summer. It never happens in school.
Oh, no, it happens at school.
No, they wait for the
I've
summer.
never seen, I've seen that plenty of
All
times.
right. So let's work some examples. So let's say, for example, we have some potassium.
But then what happens when you
Iodine.
find out the AX is pregnant?
Then what happens?
Then what happens?
Does Watt stay? Does Watt stay for the day?
Say your
Or
leave.
does Watt leave? Find out next time on replacement reaction.
Oh my God.
And then what does B do?
Yeah.
Lonely.
I'm confused.
Yeah, who is it?
My mom's a
Okay,
man.
okay, hear me out. If they were seeing each other behind the other one's back, then whose child is it?
Yeah.
What if they don't know?
There's a new thing out on the block. It's
What if
called
there's a third guy?
paternity testing. That
What if
can
there's a third guy?
What if A had an arrow couple of L?
Another word's coming to my mind right
What if the
now.
Mauricio's not available?
It has to be a couple of
No.
weeks in order to test it.
I guess we have to go to jail.
Well, let me tell you what we will do. Me got no problem with it, because me stay faithful, and me's like always been like one girl and that's it.
Well, I'm talking about.
And now it's like married forever. Okay?
You know, it's actually funny that if this would have happened to those people last summer, I would have laughed.
What, they all got married now?
I would have paid to put them on Jerry Springer.
Alright, then let's say we got lead to what's that? Nitrate. Nitrate, yep.
Peanut butter.
Now, it's double replacement reaction. What you gotta do?
Flip it.
Yep. We gotta form a new relationship.
Pop it.
So,
Twist it.
Hey.
Pull it.
now,
Take away
here's
the-
how I like to do it.
Let's do it so cool.
You're at you do it, pull.
You take the ones that are looking a little too comfortable to both times. They get too comfortable with each other.
So we flip it over.
Nowhere you can be.
We got lead
Shaky.
to iodide. Hey, here's the thing. You need to be able to do this. Nomenclature skills still have to be there. This is lead 2. That's a 2 plus. That iodide is -1, so that means I need 2 iodides. You have to be able to do that. Now, we have potassium nitrate. Potassium's a +1 charge, nitrate's a -1 charge, so I don't need the parentheses. It's KNO3.
Yeah, I know
Now, we got a balance. So potassium iodine,
My mama.
lead, and here's the easy part. Leave nitrate together. Well, Mr. Hall, we ain't never done that before. Why are we doing it now? Well, take a look at nitrate. I got nitrate on the left, and I got nitrate on the right. If the polyatomic ion shows up on the reactant and the product, keep them together. Simple enough? Yeah.
Sure.
You're all gonna walk out of here.
You know what, Mr. Hall? There was a girl at the ball game yesterday, it was her senior night, and they announced that she was majoring in chemistry, and I looked at all my chemists and I said, that is one brave soul.
Well, they're
I
probably.
plan on minoring in biochemistry.
That's what you probably suck.
I was inspired. I was inspired one year. I had a kid that looked at me and said that he didn't know what he was going to do with his life. So after having me for chemistry and physics, he's decided that he is going to major in chemistry. And I'm like, man, this is awesome. A year later, he's in nursing. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, they literally
Still
announced
great.
it yesterday, and I was like, who would do that?
So I'm saying they probably just have one of them teachers that give them a book and says, all right, answer the question on page 5.
She wants to be a pharmacist or whatever.
Girl, we don't need some chemistry. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, she said major in chemistry and become a pharmacist.
Cool. All right. Got to balance it out. Here's what we got on the reactant side. 1 potassium, 1 iodine, 1 lead, and 2 nitrates. On the product side, we have 1 potassium, 2 iodides, 1 lead, and 1 nitrate. Let's balance it out. The potassiums are balanced. Iodides are not. So what we got to do, drop a big 2. Boom.
I don't know, I poop jokes.
Now that changes potassium and it changes the iodide. So I have 2 potassium, 2 iodide. You know, I was so proud of y'all. Y'all picked up on that when I made the big poop reference and joke. And it's like carried on in here. I've made it a couple of times in 8th period and it still hasn't clicked.
Because they're asleep at 8th period.
No, they.
Just leave it at home.
So now we flip it over. We got a problem. The potassiums are no longer balanced. So now we got to go to the right side. Let's balance the potassiums. How are we going to do it?
You would be okay. Okay.
What we got to do to balance it? Drop a big 2. We need some peptide. So we have 2 potassiums, and there's a nitrate in here with a 2, so it means I have 2 nitrates.
I caught my lamp over Pepto.
Congratulations. Now, are we balanced?
Yeah.
We're done. Look at that, the new relationships. So happy and content.
But what's the
And then
2
they-
for?
they-
The 2 kids.
That aren't theirs.
Yeah, think about it.
Save it till marriage, y'all.
What if each one has a kid and then they swap? What if they just swap kids too?
It
You know,
reminds
like
me
that
of
show I switched
my
over.
grandmother. My step-grandmother has 2 kids that are
That
hers.
was pregnant with her second.
My, what?
Why don't you just,
I
why don't
couldn't
you
imagine.
give that pep talk to the freshmen every year when they come in?
Yeah.
Because you picked the wrong 2 classes. Our classes have like moms in them and dads. If you've not noticed.
Ours have a lot.
Yeah, and step
Did you
parents.
get
Alright, anyway.
the step-parents over there?
Yeah, turn around, girl.
So let's say
Clearly. No, I don't see one.
Oh my god.
Oh!
It's okay.
I just realized I'm always the last of this stuff.
But there's nothing wrong with it.
I'm sure it was.
It's
I do,
normal.
but it's okay, good.
In today's society, it's normal.
okay. You should not. Okay, let's step from chemistry teacher mode back into dad mode for a moment. For the love of God, you do not need to be getting pregnant in high school.
That she did.
Tell that to my mother.
She did.
She has
I know that.
She's just a
I'm just saying that to all y'all.
Well, some
Tell
of
my
us
mother she
already
has 2
fell.
kids.
I didn't get pregnant.
Are you?
No, I'm talking about the other ones in our
Hey.
class.
I'm just saying.
More it didn't happen.
Okay, shouldn't have. Something that should be held between, that right there should be a moment shared between you and your spouse. Okay?
But like you said, we're all gonna be together forever.
Together forever.
Yeah, because that just works out, don't it?
Well, it did work out for one of them last
Hey,
year.
to be fair,
The other
I
one
didn't
just couldn't
swap
stand
with
each other
another.
after they
That
swapped.
didn't happen.
I know. I'm just saying to everybody, save it. Now back to the camera.
Mr. Holden, you know,
No, we don't.
yeah, we do.
No, it gets more complex.
Well, you can explain it to us.
No, don't, please don't.
I keep expecting.
All right, iron 2 sulfide.
You can just those same people as double that.
Let's say I stick some iron 2 sulfide
You know what I'm talking about?
in a solution of some hydrochloric acid. You guys are so good at your nomenclature, you're just hearing it roll off, right?
Yeah.
You're just grasping it. So what we gotta do?
I'll take your order.
Switch the fee in the hook.
Okay?
And then. Oh, I have a list, but
Okay, in this case, whenever you're flipping it,
We bring over hits.
H comes over with S. Now here's the thing. I know typically whenever we dealt with hydrogen, hydrogen was one of those that, you know, is a non-metal, forms covalent bonds. It also has the special ability that it can form ions. It can form hydrides. So sulfur's charge is a -2. So how many hydrogens do you think we need? Just a little too, though. Not a big deal.
are you trying to make us all
Like a
mad?
free
Yes.
workout.
Like, when you get home from work or something, and you're like,
But
hold on, I gotta get a little bit out, so go on for the rest of the day.
Yeah,
I've never said that. I've never got oh God! Oh, I just gotta get a little bit out. Oh, okay, we're good. No, if I come home and go, oh God, boy was torn up there. Oh God. Oh yeah, yeah, it's whatever, boy. Get a little bit out there. Help me, Lord.
I bet you hope
Just a little bit,
Your
you let
little girl
that
does
absorb,
not act like
evaporate, and
this
start
every
making
day.
one.
Or no. I was actually talking to somebody about how funny it's going to be whenever Hannah does make her arrival, and it's like me and Mary go to like sporting events. It's going to be like the cheering section. It's going to be like, I want to see the baby.
Baby now.
you have to bring her in here one day. We will help babysit.
We won't be in here.
Yeah, we will. Some of us will be.
If you don't got to give us 3 will.
Listen, you guys will hear, okay, whenever we make it back, if Mary's feeling up to it, then we will stop in at West Side and let everybody see the baby.
Seniors first.
I'm coming back.
So, got a balance?
Everybody had a real breakdown at the gym first time.
Why?
Because they were all crying and I was like, why are they?
I wasn't crying, not yet.
I will be glad.
No.
That's what you say right now.
I will cry tears of joy.
Our class.
Just like I did this year when I found out something else.
I cried at homecoming. Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that. You said, you go,
She full out
my
lost
last
it at
homecoming as a
homecoming.
junior. Can't believe next year we're gonna be seniors.
I was just trying to get a pep talk.
Man, she was bawling.
I mean, she was just
Right.
bawling.
Anyway, we got a balance.
Poor Emily.
What we gotta do to balance?
Poop.
Drop a big 2 in front of the H and the chloride.
Which toilet we using?
The ages.
The half bathroom
I
toilet.
think we're probably gonna hit up the whole.
Oh, the tree.
Yeah. So it changes number of
It's on.
hydrogens and it changes number of chlorine.
The outhouse.
Leaves us balanced. So are we done?
Hey, I'll be in physics this year.
No, you want to go on
Yeah.
the body.
You can get that schedule still changed.
I can't. I was working it out. Ain't gonna want it.
Wow, what do you need to lose?
Because
You don't need
to do something, anything I don't want to do, it'll interfere and I have to look
What do
at
you
my
wanna
other
do?
classes.
What do you want to do?
Probably gonna end up in engineering, so,
Oh, you need AP Chem.
well, it's not biochemical engineering.
No, but I get that, but like, for engineers, you have to take Chem 1 and Chem 2. Well, guess what class you're in right now?
Chem 1,
Yeah,
It's what AP Chemistry is.
Chem 2.
2.5.
So then
Chem
what
who?
can happen is you come in, AP Chem, learn it, take that AP Chemistry exam, and what's the worst thing that happens? Well, you got the knowledge, so you go in and to breeze through the classes. Or, best scenario, you get a 5 on that AP exam, knock the ball out of the park, and you don't have to worry about taking chemistry. This is the one lab that I look forward to, but it also makes me nervous. Because it's the first one dealing with real deal chemicals. Now, those of you that are shooting to be in AP Chemistry next year, if we have AP Chemistry, we're going to be dealing with a lot of chemicals like this. Which will make me happy because I can make a big order and say, I got to have all this stuff, Miss Endicott.
What are you going to do when half of my lab group disintegrates tomorrow?
Won't happen.
It will happen.
Only one
will.
person's gonna have the tube, so you can't all die.
Okay. So yesterday we almost finished a double replacement reaction with you all. I just got to hit it one last double replacement reaction. And I especially want to hit this to kind of expose the seniors to this because I don't think I'll hit acids and bases with you all. But so there's this interesting thing that happens. So I've just been talking with you about hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid, real deal stuff, right? Nasty. So let's say we take a strong acid, like hydrochloric acid. I mean, this stuff's real deal. That's what's in your stomach to digest your food. The acid that I will be dealing with tomorrow is stronger than that. You know Mr. Hall. I mean, if it's like I can kind of get away with not wearing goggles, I'm not going to. Tomorrow you will see me wearing goggles, and you will also see me wearing gloves. For reason number 1, I like my eyesight. For reason number 2, well, I like my hands. So, hydrochloric acid is really bad stuff, right? Huh?
Do we get gloves?
You don't need gloves. So, hydrochloric acid. What? Huh?
It's stupid.
It's a pump book.
So stupid.
I want to know. Tell me I love laughing.
Please, for the love of God, don't show him. He won't shut up.
Please tell me. I love to laugh.
We'll show you if you don't tell everybody.
Okay.
Don't!
You can't show Mr. Hall. Go back.
Hey, go to the office and get a black marker.
I'm not talking yet. You're talking though.
Got you there, Mr. Hall.
Alright, so let's say we mix this. Let's say we mix it with the Tefal twin. So, strong acids like hydrochloric acid is really bad. Remember me introducing what a base was to you? And I talked about sodium hydroxide, and I'm like, everybody gets so caught up on the acids that nobody talks about the bases. So let's say I mix this with the base. But I'm not just going to do any base, I'm going to do a strong base. I mix it with sodium hydroxide. So I'm mixing something bad to the bone, a molecule with another bad to the bone molecule. What do you think's going to happen?
Explosion?
Something good.
You thinking an explosion?
Yes.
Fire, eruption.
No.
I was thinking something
The
good.
floor is going to be ruined.
I
Mr.
think
Hall's
they're going-
career's over.
They're going to like
No, I'm going back to math.
math.
Double
Diarrhea.
negatives are a positive. This is math now.
I feel like they'll just cancel each other out because they'll sit and try to outplay.
You already said that.
Yeah, yes, it is.
They don't react.
Pretty funny to say.
It'll form
You'll form diarrhea.
Are you okay today?
Well, no.
salt
I'm really sad.
And vinegar.
and water.
What?
It cancels each other out.
See, I was right.
Yeah.
Because they're
Double negative,
opposites.
baby. Double negative.
Ha.
Opposite
Because they're going,
attract.
they're
Double
both
negative.
powerful, so they're going to stay in
So in this case, the salt is made out of
So,
a metal and a halogen. So what's the salt here?
sodium.
Sodium's the metal. What's a halogen?
Hydrogen.
Chloride.
Halogen.
Chlorine.
Chloride.
Chloride. And
H2O.
H2O.
That's nice.
This is hard.
This right here is just straight up acid base double replacement reaction. These are acids and base reactions. So let's say, for example, you're going to see some really big container with, I know how y'all are, so I'm just going to go ahead and say it, with a mysterious white substance
We're going to touch it.
in the fume hood with me tomorrow. You want to know what it is? It's for the hydrochloric acid.
Vinegar.
No.
It's milk.
It's
Powder.
hard.
Sodium bicarbonate.
Man,
Does it taste good on food?
No.
mayonnaise.
But you'll put it in your fridge to keep your food fresh.
Baking soda.
Oh, it's in
It
that
is
pack.
baking soda. You want to know why?
Because it's a base.
Guess what sodium bicarbonate does? Neutralizes the acid. So if I spill it, all I gotta do is pour a bunch of that on there, and it's gonna bubble and fizz.
Oh, what relief it is.
So what, did you pour that on somebody?
No, this is a salt. I wouldn't pour it. And if it got on somebody, you're going to the shower.
Everybody get out. We need to have a code word for that.
Shower, shower, shower.
No, I have a code word. Get out. But it's gonna be a lot louder.
I said one word, that's good.
Hey, I can just see somebody.
Trust me.
Oh, man.
When you hear me say get out, you're gonna get out.
No, if we're.
Do you have towels?
We'll probably just look at you.
No, I don't have towels.
What we gonna dry off of you?
Listen, the ultimate goal is I don't have to use
I have to have Suave shampoo. I have split in.
Then what are we gonna do with no towel?
What is that what?
Alright, all this is, another word this goes by is a neutralization reaction. So that's all it is. Bases will neutralize acids, acids will neutralize bases. So that's kind of like the play here of how these two things are going to interact. They're just going to cancel each other out. They'll form a salt and water.
Mr. Hall, are you saying that if I took some sodium hydroxide and I mixed it with hydrochloric acid, I should drink it and it'll taste like the ocean?
No! Because you're going to have to be really good at chemistry, really accurate, really precise to make sure that you don't have any hydrochloric acid left or any sodium hydroxide left. Because if either one of these two is left, you got something else besides this.
Just know that.
What do you get?
You know how
You'll
bad it
still
burns
have
when you
one
get
of these
to go
left.
away from the ocean in your eyes? That's how bad that's going to burn yours.
Now,
It's gonna feel like getting stabbed. From
So is that why when you get heartburn you take Tums?
yes. Now,
Look at you, dog.
Tums is made of calcium.
You're learning.
I have a question for you.
Tums equal bones.
How you guys feeling with these reactions?
Horrible. I have no clue what's going on.
I just feel threatened. all
Well,
the
if you
time.
come to school, that helps.
No, I mean
I
like,
like
even
50-50.
even when we first started, I think this is literally the hardest thing we've ever done in this class. Nomenclature was a walk in the park compared to this. So much easier than
Definitely
this,
not.
in my opinion. My quiz probably says different, but I think it's so much easier than this.
Okay, guys, we got to get to the hot reaction now.
What?
Me.
Everybody's face wanna take mine.
I call it hot for a reason.
Capsaicin.
This is the reaction you don't play with.
Homie, don't play that.
Because if you play with this, you're going to have a really bad night. Because you know what everybody says.
This is another.
Play with fire, you're going to get burned.
Combustion reactions.
Combustion.
combustion reaction.
Oh my god, like a car.
Why do you not play with combustion reaction? Because you have a really bad night? You know what the old wise tale is, play with fire, went to bed.
I don't think that's true.
It's not.
Because Carly caught a whole gas can on fire and she.
That's
What
it.
did she have to pee after? Did you pee after that?
No.
You haven't peed
Probably
She
since?
said it was trying to blow it out.
She probably peed
She
on
hasn't peed
herself.
since.
I think that's.
She's not human. Burn her with fire. She'll have
She caught the whole can on fire and tried to blow it out. She really did. There's a whole video.
I'm so happy we have this scenario to talk about because we're going to talk about it.
Well, I'd like to also bring up, don't put water on a greasy fire if you're. Yeah.
All right.
We're also up to 40 years old.
Yes, we are. I will. You get to watch.
Yeah. That's been prepared.
Take off my ceiling tiles.
Probably. Okay, listen, because we don't got a lot of time. You have certain parts, and she's still alive. You have certain parts to a combustion
She
reaction.
got the video. She blowing it out. Blow it out. Why?
So the parts, number one,
Fire.
we keep it very simple in your first chemistry class. It's a hydrocarbon. This is also known as our fuel. All hydrocarbons are molecules with hydrogen and carbon.
I think you need to check up on it. I don't think they're doing well.
Second part, we need
That song is really PTSD. It does me too.
oxygen.
Yeah.
That.
Hey, key with oxygen. Oxygen is one of the 7, which means it is
Dose.
O2.
I do.
Key to that.
I spelled oxygen wrong.
Every day.
If you don't stop singing that song,
We'll all cry.
For
Number
those
3,
who haven't watched Grey's Anatomy, it's just a good song.
it's
we
just
need
It's just a good song.
every time you hear that song, know somebody dies.
Yes.
Yeah, I swear.
Heat.
heat.
I don't know.
We need
You know, like perfect
We
example.
need you.
To set a can of gasoline on fire,
Just
you
set it
gotta
next
have
to
some
the
heat
fire.
and
Oh my
fire
God.
started.
When I was
Just
4 years
set
Also
it
need
old,
oxygen.
when I was really young, I took a lighter and lit under my mama's bed. Like her box spring was on fire and blazing and everything. She got mad at me. I still don't know why.
Hey, lab tomorrow.
Hey, if you don't have time for that, recommendation.
Alright. So I sent a message out on mine yesterday after being with you all and being with 8th period. I was like, I don't need a massive headache. I'm trying to grade these quizzes with no idea what's going on.
You weren't with us though, weren't you? We left.
Yesterday I just started having a conversation with everybody. Hey, by the way, to be all up, get you all caught up. Remember, whenever you need extra help, feel free to come see me, but don't come see me in 3rd period.
Brady.
It's not Brady's.
I mean, person
Brady
sitting in front of
messaged,
Max.
Brady messaged me, and I was laughing. You were fine. The one that was really bad was that I had a freshman I had for class that came in and was like, I'm right in the heat of it. Can I talk with you? Is it an emergency? Kind of. But I can come back later, and I'm like, okay. So I walk out in the hallway, and it's just about 3rd grade. Like 30 seconds. Like, I was just checking to see like if you could put those grades in that I just turned into you like 10 minutes ago. And I'm like, go work on it. Have a great day. All right, so I had somebody made a request in 8th period, and hopefully this will help you out. If not, I am very, very sorry to you. But the whole goal that I want to use for today is try to help you. So they said they liked one thing that I did that really helped them. And I don't know if this will help you or not. We're going to venture back into my head. Because I don't think you guys have a process to figuring this out. So, whole purpose of this is the process figure out what to do. So here's the thing, is whenever you're going to look at these and try to figure out what you're going to do. Or is what's in my brain. Figure out. First, combustion reactions. These are the simplest in getting the formula. They can be the hardest, in balancing. So combustion reactions, it will be your hydrocarbon plus, what do you do if you're trying to get a fire burning, a campfire burning, and you got some embers but it just won't catch?
Air.
Okay. Let's go with another idea.
Oxygen.
It doesn't involve gasoline. Push air on it. Blow on it. Why are we blowing on it?
Because the air will stimulate the fire, causing a reaction for the fire to ignite.
What's in the air that does it?
Carbon dioxide.
Oxygen. And remember, it's O2 because oxygen is a diatomic. The really cool thing with it is if you ever wonder why, like standing back and blowing like that helps, there's a Bernoulli's principle. Nobody cares about that. It's a really cool principle.
What is it?
So it's if you blow, then the air that you're blowing out forces the air that's also surrounding it to also push with it. So it's like, let's say you're in a hot room and you have a fan, that you'll see a lot of people that sets the fan in the window to suck the air out. That's really not a good idea. Take the fan, have it pointed the same way where it points out, but bring it back a little bit. Because what happens is when the fan blows and it pushes air out the window, then also the air that's there on the walls around the fan also pushes with it. Firefighters use it as well, but Bernoulli's principle that it'll push more air with it. It's a really cool idea.
Is that the concept in physics?
It's actually I think, I can't remember if we talk about Bernoulli's principle in AP chemistry or not. So these are the reactants, and it's always going to yield. The combustion reaction will always yield carbon dioxide and water. Always. Even in AP chemistry, these will be your products. Does not change. Hydrocarbons, for example. Propane and propane accessories. I can also do other things.
What's settling?
Actually, I don't know off the top of my head. I do molecules like this. The hydrocarbon part is what is important. That's what makes these so simplistic. Everything's given to you. I can't change nothing besides the hydrocarbon. And I have to give you a hydrocarbon. It's impossible for you to do a combustion reaction without hydrocarbon. So Mr. Hall has to give you the hydrocarbon. Okay? Number 2. And when you're in my head, right now we're going simplest, like easiest, and working our way to the hardest. Number 2, double replacement. Let's do that in a different color. Double replacement reactions, very simple. Why?
Could you give us a piece of paper to help?
That's single replacement. Double replacement, you take the same ions, well, you take the ions and switch. You literally just flip them. Now here's the thing that makes double replacement reactions complex. Whenever we're switching them, whenever they join back up, you have to look at the charges. You can't just look and say, oh, well, la-di-dee, la-di-da, we're done. You have to make sure those charges are matching up in the products to where you have them balanced out. So, we'll say, I'm going to be honest with you, this is dangerous. I'm pulling this out of my head. Calcium hydroxide. Say we mix calcium hydroxide and hydrochloric acid. This is a double replacement. Now, this is one of the special cases with the double replacement. Because when you look at the double replacement, there were very few of them that was special, but this was the special one. Because when you look at this, I have a metal from group 1 or 2 and hydroxide, which means this is a base. Hydrochloric acid is an acid. This is an acid-base neutralization reaction. You're still going to switch them. So this hydrogen comes here for the calcium, and this calcium goes there for the hydrogen. But this is what I'm talking about. I seen this yesterday. A lot of kids just want to jump to this, and they want to throw up here. And that is 100% wrong. Let's talk about why it's wrong. Reason number 1, this doesn't happen. This will form water. This is why you have to remember base and acid will form 2 things. First, water. Second, salt. So water's simple. This is the one that's complex. It's not as simple as just putting calcium chloride. Because when you look at it, what's the charge that calcium has? Pass out Red Bulls. Thank you. What's the charge on chloride? Number 17.
-3. -1.
It's -1. It's in 17th column. Thank God we're having a review day.
I
We
know you
switch
said
them.
17, but I still couldn't find it.
So this isn't CACL, it's CACL2. So they're going to switch, but you have to check that balance. So remember, acid base goes to water, salt. And we got a balanced charge. You can't just jump in there and not balance it. Then, you go to everybody's favorite one, the one that brings all the high school drama.
Single replacement reactions.
Yep. Number 3. Single replacement. Now, what do I have to give you for single replacement? It's a call.
I always want to call it the activity sheet because of how
That's fine, that's fine, I'll take it.
But then it just makes it sound like we're doing some kind of a word sheet.
Activity series, or activity sheet. I don't care what you call it as long as you know single replacement reactions. This is where that's going to come into play. This is the way I look at it. Y'all are going to be like, oh my gosh, you are an awful human being, Mr. Hall. You have the couple, and the person in the couple is saying, is that an upgrade to my prom date or a downgrade to my prom date? Or is it equal?
It always ends up as a downgrade. It always does. For being honest.
Well, if you want to be truthful, okay, let me step out of chemistry teacher mode. I'm going to go dad mode for a minute. So, let me tell you something. If they're in a relationship and they're talking to you like they would like a relationship with you, that means they're going to date you and they're going to do the same thing. Yeah.
So they can get this person teaching us fire.
I have an A.
I mean, all I'm saying is, the best thing to do, hear me out.
Find a good girl that sticks out.
No, yeah, but no, what I'm saying is, if you're having doubts and you want someone else anyway, then don't be with the person on the first.
If they'll do it,
And
if
then you
you
have
don't
no
know
problem.
what to do,
That's what I'm saying.
I know. Well, if that's all you're there for, then leave the first person.
I literally went to camp. I went to church camp, and there was a girl that was like dating somebody, but she just kept flirting with me. And she finally just came out and said that she does not move on from the guy she's with until she has the next one lined up. Which was like her kind of looking at me and saying, hey, I want to line you up as next. And I'm like, there's your cabin, bye. And I'm not. And now that girl is married, and I'm like nervous for the guy, because I'm like, oh God.
Beautiful.
She did it countless times while she's dating, so
Maybe she'll do it while she's married.
I'm scared, but hey.
Yeah, thanks to you, I know to avoid those kind of girls.
You need to. Trust me, it's worth it. Somebody looked at me in college whenever I told them the type of girl I was after, and they said, Kevin, you took your large ocean and made it that small pond. I said, that's excellent. It's a lot easier to catch that one fish in a small pond than a big ocean. Philosophy for the day. Okay.
You know me, I'm all about it.
Oh, yeah. So, activity series we use to determine if reaction takes place. If the reaction doesn't take place, what is the correct answer?
No reaction.
No reaction.
And how does one know that there's no reaction?
It's not an upgrade. It's equal or downgrade. The most active metal or halogen will stay in place. It will not be replaced. Yeah. So we know it's no reaction if on the activity series the most active metal or halogen is already bonded. Well, it's kind of like the guy that looks and is like, you know, I'm not going to break up with an 8 to date a 5. Well, that sounds awful, but trying to help it stick in your mind.
That is true.
But the guy says he'll dump the 5 to be with a 9.
Also true.
Don't think I'm an awful human being.
Now you're speaking words of truth.
Okay. Then you get into the ones that are hard. These 3 here, I think, are not that bad. The 2 that are hard is number 4, decomposition. Decomposition, they're just breaking apart, but there's special cases. First special case, I'm going to go through each special case, and this is what has to stick in your mind. The decomposition reaction, you have metal carbonate. Metal carbonate breaks into and decomposes to metal oxide, and carbon dioxide. Here's the thing, just like with all the reactions, where does the metal in the products come from? It's whatever metal is in the reactant. Great example of this. Bless you. If I give you lithium carbonate. That's the reaction. You have to look at this and know. Now right now it's very simplistic to know this is a metal carbonate. Why? I just talked about it and I just wrote it right above it. You have to be able to look and go Li2, well that's a metal CO3. That's carbonate. That's a metal carbonate. So I know it's going to break into a metal oxide. What's the metal?
Lithium.
Lithium.
Oxide.
No.
Oxide. And CO2. Now, there's another case. You have metal hydroxides. Metal hydroxides will decompose into metal oxides and water. I don't have time to keep giving you examples. If I do, we're going to run out of time. Okay? But you have to notice that it's a metal hydroxide. So a good example is I'd used one earlier. So like calcium hydroxide. And that's going to break into calcium oxide and water. Then one of my favorite reactions are metal chlorates. When you look at metal chlorates, they're going to break down into a metal chloride and oxygen. Remember, oxygen is a diatomic when it's by itself. So it's O2. Great example of this, potassium chlorate. So potassium chlorate will break down into potassium chloride and oxygen. Then you have the decomposition reactions of oxyacids. The oxyacid is going to break down into two things. First thing is water. Second thing is that non-metal oxide. A side note is this non-metal oxide is one less oxygen than polyatomic in oxyacid. I'm going to work an example of this just so you guys get that idea, because these are the ones I think will be complex. So if I took something like sulfuric acid, H2SO4, and I heat it, what's it going to break down into? That is an oxyacid. So it's going to break into water and a non-metal oxide. Well, what's the non-metal here? Sulfur. It's an oxide, but it's one less oxygen than what's in that polyatomic. So there's 4 here. How many oxygens are here?
3.
There's 3. Simple enough. Okay, you got synthesis reactions as well. We don't have as much time to get through them. So the 2 big synthesis reactions that I think may trip you up. You need to look at your synthesis reactions with those oxides. So if you take a metal oxide with water, metal oxide and water is going to form metal hydroxide. It's just the reverse of this. But then on the flip side, oxides and nonmetals, they're going to react to form oxyacids. Water, you got a nonmetal oxide
off.
forms of oxyacid. It's the reverse.